You're my Cincinnati. You're everything I need to get up and make myself dance. You're my morning glory. I love you every morning. You're my leather jacket. You always got my back. Yeah. You're my broken headphones. You know I'll always smash it because you're everything to me. Girl, you're my roller coaster. Girl, you're my chicken sandwich. Baby, you're my Cincinnati. You're everything I need to get up and dance. You're my catty vixen, always got the fixins. You're my feather boa, I love you even more. You're my bull machine, clung too hard to fling because you're everything to me. Girl, you're my roller coaster. Girl, you're my chicken sandwich. Baby, you're my Cincinnati. You're everything I need to get up and dance. Everything new I learned through you. Everything I see reminds me of girl, you're my roller coaster. Girl,
All right, people, here we go. Here we go. Let me get that VLC down. Where is she at? Turn that music down. Happy Saturday, everybody. We're out here. Oh, wait, is it? Yeah, it's February 14th. Can you guys believe that? We got February 14th going on. Welcome, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day to all you guys. I hope my audio is a little bit better. I made some adjustments. I got other adjustments going on. I'm trying to like tighten it all up, make it all good. We got our man from all the way across the pond. We got Big James himself from England. James, how you doing? Shout out to you, bro. Big Knuckles. What's going on, people? How you doing, bro?
Are we the desperate and dateless on Valentine's Day? Is that what we are?
I think
it's like a lonely heartstring.
Yeah, I think we're the desperate and dateless. Wait, I mean, it's still early in the morning. Well, it's 7 o'clock where you're at, so it's still kind of early, but it's only 11:15, 11:20 here, so it's still early. I don't know. Do you have a Valentine's Day tonight, or what are you doing? What's going on? Are you just hanging out with the bruvs?
The pickings are slim in my area. You've got to understand that this is like a mecca for old age pensioners. You know what I'm saying? It's either like it's like retirees, it's like people that are widowed. Yeah, the pickings are slim. Young couples that are coming. There isn't any people in my area that are single. And the ones that are single, I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you got to look out for them. I mean, you're out there with all the livestock in the country. You're making it all happen. So, it's a dangerous thing once you get out in the country time. You know what I'm saying?
The thing that always amazes me about Valentine's
look out for
Day,
him. I mean,
if I could just interject, it's like, you know what? You get two types of people, don't you? There's a geezer, right, that loves his missus for 365 days of the year. And then there's one geezer that neglects his missus for 364 days of the year and pulls out all the stops on Valentine's Day. He gets the card, he gets the chocolates, he gives her a poke in the evening, once a year.
Yeah.
And then he after he's taken her to a nice restaurant. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got two kinds of people. And I always used to say this to my ex. She used to because I'm not really a big Valentine's Day person. I said, look, I treat you like a princess all year round. And she goes, yeah, but you never really treat me like a princess on Valentine's Day. And I said, what would you rather have? That neglect all year? Or would you rather just have one special day where I spunk a load of money for no apparent reason? I said, you go out, it costs an arm and a fucking leg, doesn't it? Try and get a reservation for a restaurant is mad. I bet you it's mad where you are, in LA, California, trying to get a reservation in a decent restaurant on Valentine's Day. You probably have to book 5 years in advance.
Oh, bro, it's so true. I mean, and like the cost of everything is so much. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, if you leave it to men, we'll just go out and buy ourselves a nice tomahawk steak from our butcher. Maybe it costs $40. I'll come home and I'll cook it. It'll be fantastic. But of course, ladies, they want to go out. They want to be able to get all pretty, put their nice dress on, put their makeup on, get their hair did, go out and, get admired, get other people to fawn over them, get attention, and go out for that environment. And then you end up paying like $300 for the same kind of steak. And you're like, holy shit, bro. And then by the time, you got to fit into your, like, your slacks, you got to fit into your, like, your nice little shoes as guys, you got to have some nice pair of leather shoes. You finally get out there. And then the waiter doesn't treat you nice, or, something funny happens. And then, the whole night's ruined, but you drop $300 on it. And then you guys are driving home in the car, and then you're getting a little bit of a tiff maybe. The guy's sitting there thinking, oh man, am I going to, are we going to fuck later? What's going on? And she gets all mad. Urgh. But then, it's a big thing. And so, as guys, you really got to know what you're doing. James, have you ever done any crazy Valentine's Day dates or anything like that? Or do you just kind of do them all? Did you always do them the same?
It's so mundane to me, Valentine's Day, because you start the day, don't you? And it's like, you got the cards, you got the chocolates, you got the flowers, then you go to work. And then when you get off work, you're fucking shattered. But you've got to like you said, you've got to put on your best fucking suit. You've got to get a tie. I can't exactly roll in with a tracksuit. Tracksuit. This is a black tie establishment, sir. So I hate all that dressing up. At the best of the time, I like my casual clothes. So you got to go in there, and then you got to go through. Everyone else is all lovey-dovey in the restaurant. You know what I mean? It's like all around you, and it's like you're looking around and going, "Oh fuck this," right? And then the thing with me is, right, when it cut, you obviously you got to treat your missus afterwards, ain't you? You got to give her a bit of the old magic in the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I get on the boot, this is the thing with me, right? If I don't drink, I'll probably put in about an hour's worth of work, right? But if I'm like if I drink, right, I can't come for shit, mate. I could be going for like three fucking hours. And if I'm loaded, if I've had about 8 or 9 Stellas, I can't come for shit. So I'll be like beating her like a meat tenderizer. You know what I mean? It just there'd be no finish from me. I'd just be like a trip hammer going like this. You know what I mean? It's like it works with me. If I drink a lot, I can't come for shit.
Yeah.
If I get proper loaded.
Bro, every guy has been there. And I think especially the very first time that you ever experienced that, I don't know, at whatever age, you kind of freak out as a man. You're like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? You get that whiskey dick. That's what we call it here in America, a little whiskey dick action. Yeah. And you just can't get it up. You're like pounding that fucking limp sausage in there, and you're just beating around in there trying to make it happen. And you're looking up trying to see if hopefully she's having a good time, and she's maybe she came or something like that. But most of the time, you just have to keep going, and you're like, oh shit. And there's no bigger time for a man to panic than when he's in a bedroom and he gets a bit of whiskey dick. It's time. Everything that you did, right? You spent the whole day planning this out. You got your suit, you got your tie, you got the card, you got the chocolates, you went to the fucking restaurant, you put up with the waiter, you did the 25% tip begrudgingly because you just got like a standard meal or whatever, and then you finally get home, it's time, and then you don't even want to do it anymore. But you have to, right? You're there, you put in all that investment, you got to do it. And of course, the missus, as you put it, she wants you to do it. She wants to have a good time. But then you have
I remember I said to her in a slurry voice, I was like, is this good for you, darling? Is it good for you? And she was like, oh, fuck off, you prick, you're drunk. And she just rolled over. You know what I mean? It's like fuck it. And then she hates you for like a couple of weeks afterwards because you've ruined her special night and that.
Yeah.
Because everyone else, like in your relationships groups, talking about how spectacular your night was. And then there was me, and she go, oh, that selfish bastard just got drunk, It's all about his enjoyment, not my enjoyment. I'm like, fucking hell, mate.
Yeah.
If you want me to go out for a fancy meal, you got to know that I'll be getting well and truly loaded. Because I'll be bored shitless just sitting there. It's terrible because it's like when you're in a goldfish bowl, everyone when you're in that on Valentine's Day, everyone else is watching each other, aren't they?
Oh, they are.
You're watching
the women.
Relationships.
The women are watching each other. The women are seeing who got the biggest bouquet. Did I get the biggest bouquet? Yeah. Who got the best chocolates? Did I get the best chocolates? Who has the best dress? Which man dresses the nice? Which man's treating her the best? So that they can kind of compare and then hold it over the other women. It's really about performance for the other women. That's really what it's all about. But I was going to tell you, I have a secret, right? For the whiskey dick. You want to hear my secret, James? I got a secret.
Go on then, let's hear it.
All right. So my secret is this, okay? And it also helps with the women, okay? It helps the woman to get her hair done quick fast, all right? Because I don't know if you've ever, gone to pick up a woman or whatever, and she says just a few more minutes, just a few more minutes, and then an hour later she's still doing her hair or whatever, bro. That happened to me so many countless times. Here's the trick, okay? You go, you grab her, you guys fuck first before the dinner. That gets her hair done. She looks fantastic. She's got that just been fucked hairdo going on. She looks immaculate. Her cheeks are all rosy. She's all happy. She's all relaxed now. You've done your thing. You can go out and get fucking hammered and then come back and you already did the deed. And then everybody's happy. So that's my little solution. What do you think about that?
Unless you spunk over a nice new dress.
No, you gotta. Well, some girls like that kind of stuff. I don't know, but no, you gotta get the dress off. You gotta keep it over there on the side. You gotta do the thing. Just grab her by the hair. Do your business or whatever. Get her all excited. Get her feeling like, oh, I'm irresistible. He can't keep his hands off me. This is crazy. And then you got your load out. She's all relaxed now. You both got that. Dopamine going through your bodies. You had a good time. Everybody can be relaxed now. When you go out, you have a much better date. I'm serious. You have a much better Valentine's Day. You have a much better meal. Then when you come home, you can just crash and go to sleep because, you just had like you said, 5 or 6 Stellas. I just had 4 or 5 shots of tequila, bro. I'm not in the mood. I'm all.
You know what they called it? They called it over here Brewer's Droop. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It fucking ain't happening. But everyone in the chat, listen to Ray to get the action in before you go out for your meal.
Well, of course, that you have to already be in a relationship with a person, and that works the best. Even though I'll ask you this in a minute, James. I'm sure you've done this. You've probably had sex on the first date too. But, everybody...
I have sex within the first 2 hours of meeting them in the club, mate. I don't have patience. I'm like, yeah, all right, darling, come on. Yeah, you know where this is heading, darling. Let's go.
Well, yeah, the communication through the eyes definitely tells you everything you need to know. And if they're game, then you're game. And, you guys go and, have a good time. But, if you can have a relationship, and really that's the best, to have a solid girlfriend or wife if you're out there. Shout out to Professor Grass, who's got a solid wife, and Dr. Till out there has got a wife.
They all are in there. Everyone in the chat. I think everyone's married or in a relationship. I think we're the only 2 single people, aren't we?
It could be. Let me go ahead and see who's in the chat. We got DJ John. Shout out to you in the chat, bro. I know you're out there kicking some ass. Hopefully you have a good Valentine's Day. We got Force Mommy in the chat, throwing her a whole bunch of hearts. Hearts to you, FOMO. Hope you're having a great Valentine's Day. We got Pat out in the chat. Shout out to you, Pat. Hoping you're having a great Valentine's Day. Wishing you all the best today. Who was he? Anybody else we got out there? We got all kinds of other people out there, but I ain't gonna go through them all because they're not chatting. If you want me to give you a shout out, make sure you say something. Put your name or say hey. Leave a comment in the chat, and I'll give you a good shout out. But no, you have to have a good relationship, or have a decent relationship, and that's the most fun. When you're in a good relationship with somebody, you can go out there and just you can work that magic. You can have that that pre-game sex, if you will, before the dinner, so that everything goes fine, and then you guys can just relax and have a good time and keep going on. John in the chat says maybe it's just a Cuban thing, but I get 5 whiskeys in me and I'm ready to go. Oh well. So DJ John there saying he does the opposite. He's ready to go.
I think it might be a beer thing. You know what I mean? If you're like me, or if you're like a beer or a lager drinker, I think that just kills it fucking stone dead. You know what I mean? Unless it's unless this bird's so fucking attractive and you just plow through it, and it's like a force of will thing, like a force of nature. It's like, I will fucking do this. But I remember, right, when I was out clubbing, it was always good if I met a bird early. So I'd rock up I'd finish in the bars and I'd rock up to the club about 11 or 12, and I'd pull a bird straight away, and I knew I was set for the night. But the worst one was when I've gone all night without a bite. You know what I mean? I put it out there and I haven't got a bite. So I've been well into my drinking, and then I'm sulking at about fucking 1:45 as the club's about to close, and I'm scanning for any desperate pig I can find. You know what I mean? It's like you just
terrible.
do the scanner. I'll take anyone. You know what I mean? It's like pull a pig. You know what I mean? I'll take anyone.
Well,
and and then you try and perform. You try and perform then. You try and put, and it just ain't happening.
Yeah,
But you know,
it doesn't work.
that's how it is when you. That's how it is when you're young. I mean, you know, if you're in a relationship, you can just do it anytime you like.
Yeah,
Fucking hell,
yeah,
any time of the day.
yeah,
Crack on, it's fun.
yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean? It breaks up the monotony of a boring day.
yeah. Well, this is the thing I was trying to explain to some of my lady friends is that, you know, a man's sex drive. Imagine this, okay? I say, hey, you guys don't get it, right? A man has a sex drive. This thing drives us all the time, okay? So I tried to tell him what it's like. It's a little bit like if you drank like, you know, 8 cups of coffee and you're just sitting there vibrating, you're jittery, right? And you're looking around and you're trying to get some relief. That's kind of how the man's sex drive is. So that we're always jittery, looking to get relief because we always have all this caffeine in us. That is our sex drive. And so we're always looking for a, you know, woman. And if you get, you know, in a good relationship, that's why you have a high, you know, high sex drive. You have a lot of sex or whatever. But when you're not in a relationship, then damn, you got those jitters just build up and you're just thinking about sex all the time until you get a little bit older. Then it kind of eases up a little bit. It's not as bad. You can kind of, you know, deal with it better. But, you know, definitely in your 20s, when you're younger, in your teens and your 20s, you're sitting there thinking about, you know, women all the time. Isn't that right, James? You're just like, oh my God, where's the next
Well,
lady?
I don't know, it's for other people, but when I'm out and about, say if I'm in London, I'm on a train or a tube, or I'm in a cafe or a bar, the first thing you do as a bloke is you go in and you scan,
Yeah.
and you're immediately drawn to the most attractive women in the room.
Yeah.
If you're gay, you're attracted to men. You know what I mean? You go in there and you scan. That's what you do. You just go in and you scan. And you know, that's human nature. That's how you are. And it doesn't even matter. Like, even if you're single, that's what you do. But even if you're in a relationship, you can always you still scan and you see, oh yeah, that's attractive. That bird's attractive, or that fella's attractive, or whatever, depending if you're a man or woman. But you know what I mean? It's like you scan all the time, and that's what I do. Anywhere I go, I'm always scanning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
It's just human nature. And I'm always, and like I have like an incredibly high sex drive, and it's like I'm always thinking about women in general. That's it. And like always, my online personality, it's not like a made up thing. I flirt all the time with women. It's something that I like to do. It's fun. I enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, people have got to have a hobby. I like flirting with women. It's a nice hobby to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pay a woman a compliment. You know, they like it. Women like it to get compliments.
Yeah. It's this.
Be like Ethan Ralph. Pay Scarlett compliments. You got to be smooth like Ralph.
Yeah,
Smooth.
it really is like the spice of life. Once you start to flirt and you interact with women, and you know,
Yeah, it's fun.
and conversely, women to men too, they flirt all the time. It's a lot of fun, and once you understand that and understand that it's welcome, it's embraced. That if you do it in the right way, then women receive it well and they like it. We got Carrie C in the chat. She says she's flirting with James. So there you go, James. She's shooting her shot.
Exactly. It's fun, isn't
It's
it?
fun.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just a good time.
Unless you do the Ralph thing, what's up, babe?
Yeah.
Shut up, bitch. I'll punch you in the face, bitch. I love you, Scarlet Mommy.
Who
I love you, Scarlet Mommy.
Yeah, who loves you, baby? Yeah, no, but that's a whole Ethan Ralph, Frog Tony kind of thing. That you know, you start to get creepy there, right?
It's passive aggressive, isn't it?
Yes.
They've got that passive aggressive thing because they see it as rejection. They don't see it as a game. They don't see it as flirting. They don't see it as fun. It's very much, oh, I like online girl. I like e-girl. If she rejects me, I suddenly become quite vicious about it.
That's true.
I've never been vicious. I've never been vicious or nasty to any woman online, and I would never be vicious or nasty to any woman online. Not to Kerry, not to Forest Mummy, not to Pat, not to anyone who is or isn't in the chat. It's always fun. It's always playful. You know, there's boundaries because, you know, women are in relationships. There's boundaries. I never overstep the mark. I always give it the wink, wink and a nudge, nudge just to show, you know, that I'm not fucking like some leery pervert. You know what I mean? But it's like those people can't do it because they're not like real men, are they? They're like boys. They've never grown out of adolescence, have they? They're boys.
No, you're right. Carrie C in the chat says you can be mean to her. Eyebrow wiggle. I think that's pretty funny. No, it's true. Those kind of men, you know, they don't understand that it's not rejection. It's just a dance. You know, it's not really rejection. It's just a dance. And if you want to dance with somebody and they don't want to dance back, no harm, no foul. You just move on to the next person. You don't take it personal and then try to inflict pain on that woman. And I think there's a lot of women out there, especially in the chat or out in the world, that have probably experienced trying to reject a man and they take it personal and then they like hold a grudge against them and treat the woman worse. And that's terrible.
The worst thing that I see is like the way they go from 1 to 100, right? They'll be very affectionate. They'll be very flirty. And the moment that they don't think it's going in their direction, they'll call them cunts.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that comes out of their mouth. They say the most disgusting, filthy things because they feel like weak and invalidated because they feel that they've been rejected.
Yeah.
But there was never anything to be rejected. You're just having a bit of fun, a bit of bants, a bit of flirting,
Yeah.
a bit of playfulness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Play the game. You know, bit of give and take. You know, play the game. But these people, they can't. They're so locked in. We were saying it with Clipper, weren't they? They've got the Paul mentality, haven't they? You know what I mean? He's very much, you know, Ethan Ralph and Frog Tony have got very much the Paul mentality, haven't they? They say the weirdest sexual shit. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, to take Dalish. Dalish is a very elfin, skinny bird. Yet Frog Tony wanted to feed her for some fucking reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to, you know, get your fast food and get your fat or whatever the fuck that was. It's like some weird sexual fetish of about feeding her or something.
Yeah,
these people are all like they're all off their heads.
Yeah, it's not even about sex at that point. It's about control, and it's not even about a relationship. It's about, you know, maintaining power over somebody else. And you know, I'm sure women understand this. Women, don't mess with guys like that. I mean, that's just scary. You know, because it's a little bit like Jason Bateman from you know, American Psycho. You know, they just can switch on a dime and they change, you know, their persona in an instant. And maybe they're happy with you 1 second, and maybe you do something they don't like, and they just change to this psychopath and they like rage against you. We got Ric Flair's hair in the chat. He says, "Woo to the bros, woo to you, Ric Flair."
Well, he's a ladies' man, isn't he? You know what I mean? Styling and profiling. Yeah. You know, Ric Flair's had how many women has Ric Flair had?
You can't count them, bro. You can't count them. So many. Yeah, he's a natural. But yeah, so you know, women understand this well, and I think there's a lot of men, and it seems like there's more and more of these men coming out that, you know, the men, especially with this online culture, and he's talking about Frog Tony, you're talking about Ethan Ralph, you're talking about some of the other people, that they want to like control women, and then that's a very bad situation to be. You know, the man should be off doing his passion, trying to go about his purpose in life, and bring the woman along as a supplement with his journey, and then the woman has children, and that's really what the relationship should be about, is creating a home for children. Of course we all want to fuck, don't we, James? Of course we do. Of course we want to have fun, but ultimately you want to have, you know, a nice household that's stable, that creates beautiful children, that raises them up to be successful adults. That's the ultimate goal, and women should look for men like that, and men should be thinking about that. But of course we're going to have our fun here and there.
Yeah, I often wonder how bleak it must be in the real world for these people, for their online persona to manifest itself in this way. You know what I mean? Because we all live in a house, we all walk outside of our door, and we're all surrounded by men and women, whatever you're into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all go to bars, we all go to pubs, we all go to restaurants, we all associate with our friends and our family, and there's never a shortage of single people around. I always wonder what type of personality they must have in the real world, where they're so desperate and weird in online culture, and they're trying to find a relationship in one of the hardest places. Online relationships are a bit of a joke, really, aren't they? They don't. I've never ever done online dating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, it's just not for me. You know what I mean? But how many successful online relationships do you know where they've met themselves online and they become a thing in real life?
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot easier to go out of your door and find someone and have a normal relationship outside the weirdness of online culture.
Yeah, online culture reminds me of that Eyes Wide Shut, you know? It reminds me of that movie where people can be who they want to be behind the mask, and they can exhibit their, you know, their insatiable urges, and they can be as cruel or whatever as they want to be, and that really comes out online. And so they kind of really show you who they are. So, you know, don't mess with that. We had CK in the chat earlier that said Valentine's Day is just a shakedown. Shout out to CK. But I agree. Valentine's.
Last of the romantics, old CK, isn't he?
Yeah, I agree. I do think Valentine's Day
is
a shakedown, and it's just something to try to generate money for the industry. You know, they just had Christmas. They don't know what to have next, so they have Valentine's Day in February, and they're just trying to get people to buy, you know, a stale box of chocolates, you know, a card. Of course, you know, if you are in a good relationship, you should be treating the other person like you love them the entire year, bro. You know, buy them donuts, buy them
exactly,
buy them all.
And
that
jewelry,
stuff.
Jewelry's the thing. Did you ever get involved in the jewelry game? Because I did.
Yeah,
I got like when I was like, the thing was when I was in a long-term relationship with my ex Amy, every year I tried to up the game with the jewelry
Yeah.
until it got to the point where it was really financially a struggle for me. You know what I mean? Because you would go up in increments, wouldn't you? So
Yeah.
like you had to outdo you. I think you always think the thing with women, they remember. They're like elephants, women. They remember the previous year. And if you don't outdo the previous year, some women, it gets into their head that you love them less.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you love me less than you loved me before. Is our relationship on the rocks? He doesn't seem as committed or as devoted as he was. And that's how the kind of cycle I got myself in with like trying to outdo myself until I was like, Jesus Christ, mate, I'm going to have to fucking file for bankruptcy at this rate.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. And I think too, like, but I do think there's a ticking clock on relationships. I used to, of course, when you're younger, you don't really think about it. But as you get older, the longer you go in a relationship, the more you have to move that relationship along, or else, crazy things are going to start to happen. You're going to have to, if you hold on to a woman for a significant amount of time, it's about time to think about having a kid with her, or, get married or don't get married, but at least have a kid with her so that, she can start to nurture and take care of that kid. And as men, it's our responsibility to consider the fact that women do have a window where they have to have children. And if they don't have children in that window, they kind of go crazy later in life. Have you seen some of those crazy women, James? I mean, they dress their dogs, they put them in like prams, they dance them around. They don't have any kids, but they treat everybody else like children. You know what I'm talking about?
I think it's like reality TV culture. Do you remember when Paris Hilton started that? She was trotting around. What was that reality show she used to do? She used to trot around the farm, didn't she?
Yeah.
With the real life or something. And she had her dog in her purse. And then you had like the Real Housewives culture. I think a lot of it is to do with governments. Governments told women, didn't they, that they could have it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't have to rush to judgment. You didn't have to marry the first man you got in a relationship with. You didn't have to start a family in your late teens or early 20s. You could have the career, you could have it all, you could smash the glass ceiling. And all of them women ended up being 40 plus and childless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they dedicated so much time to putting into their career that they didn't have enough time outside of it to pursue a fulfilling relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very much like, what's that fucking movie? Like, it's like The Devil Wears Prada, in it, where she's got everything she wanted in her life, but she ain't really got any relationships, has she? The main character in that. She's like, all she's got is her fashion house. That's it. She's got an amazing career, kind of like Anna Wintour. You know, Anna Wintour. She's got she's like the thing, isn't she? But has she really got a loving family or relationship beyond that?
No.
Because she's dedicated her entire life to being top of her industry and smashing the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
well, and the funny
I
thing,
think it's good.
and the funny thing is that the industry doesn't care, bro. And women are not built for that. Women aren't built to be discarded. Like, men, we understand, right? We go to work, we have a job. At some point, our job is going to try to throw us away. We're going to get fired. We're going to get, the company's going to go under, whatever. And everything we've worked for we're going to have to start over. And as men, we know that we're conditioned for it, but women are not conditioned for that. Women work so hard, and then the company just fires them out of nowhere. And we're seeing that right now. Right now in society right now, there's a lot of firings going on, and you're seeing a lot of meltdowns. That workforce is dwindling. They keep saying the economy's better, but it's not. And, women would be much better to have for their long-term happiness if they were to have children and then grandchildren and go on and have a huge family, because that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to get attention from their children, from their grandchildren. They're designed to have input to be validated by those offspring that they create. What are your thoughts on that, James?
Well, I saw this video yesterday completely by accident as I was flicking through TikTok, and there was they were two ugly fat people, right? But they were in a relationship, and supposedly they loved each other, but they were talking to a financial guy. It's a bit like the one that Dick Masterson knows. I can't remember what his name is, but he runs through their finances. And you know what? This woman, right? She resented him because he earned more money than her. She goes, I don't like you anymore because you're an engineer and you sit at a computer all day and you're making a base salary of like $80,000 or $90,000 a year. He just started, so it's the base salary. And she goes, I studied 2 years at college or university, whatever it is. And she goes to become a funeral director, she said, and I'm earning like 25 grand a year or something. You know what I mean? She was saying, And she says, I resent you as a woman that you're earning more than me. And I don't think I can ever get over it in our relationship that there's this financial disparity because it seems to me that I have to come for you to money and I owe you. She didn't see their relationship as a partnership. She saw it as like, I'm going to have to stay with you and I'm always going to have to ask you for pocket money. You're going to always have to cover the bills and the expenditures and stuff. I need you, so I'm stuck with you and now I resent you. And I was like, fucking, that's a weird way of looking at a relationship, isn't it? Because of the financial disparity, she resents him because he's got more money and he's able to provide them with a better life.
Yeah.
And she hates him for it because it's not her money. She wants to be in that position so she can hold the wood over him.
Right.
And I thought, God, that's a weird way of thinking about it, isn't it?
It is. It's very strange, and most women, and you guys all know this, James. You know this is that you've heard it several times. Is that you've heard that saying that his money is my money and my money is my money. So a woman says that the man's money is her money and her money is her money. So the woman looks at her money as it's just her money, but the man's money is also her money to cover the bills and all that stuff too. So a man goes to work and he understands this and he goes to work to provide for a family, and a woman goes to work to provide for herself. And that's very interesting. I mean, how many women are out there want to go to work and then also take on a husband and have him be a stay-at-home husband, where she pays all the bills? None. No woman wants to do that. In fact, they lose attraction for that man if he is a stay-at-home man. They'll be at work or something, and they'll start flirting with their boss or their
coworker. Resentment will set in.
Yeah, and then before you know it, they're fucking their coworker, they're fucking their boss, they're out there, and then they're calling him less of a man. But that's what they had agreed upon when they first got married or whatever. And so there's these natural, programs that run within each of us as men and as women. Okay, men are designed to try to go out there to achieve, to slay the dragon, to bring home the meat, to give it to the woman, so that she can take care of the household. Women are designed to be taken care of, to appreciate the affection, then to nurture their children. And when they see a man who's no longer out there slaying dragons, bro, they dry up faster than the Sahara Desert. I tell you what, they get there's no more poontang for that guy. Shout out to Tank Ferret in the chat. Good afternoon to all you magnificent bastards and basterettes. James, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you also has a negative effect. If you take, I don't know how it is in America, but over here, they're trying to get parity in the military. You know what I mean? Across the board. So they're not selecting the brightest, the best, the youngest, and the fittest. It's basically, we've got a quota system now in all aspects of our military, in all aspects of our police force. We need 50-50. So 50% of men, 50% of women. Yeah. And we also need it to be diversified. So we need the men to be 50% diverse. So make whites 25%. Make, ethnic minorities 25%, and the same with the women. So it's not really the best and the brightest anymore. It's basically like they're going for quotas, and we're getting less effective people. You know what I mean? They're trying to put square pegs in round holes. And that's what I find now. We're trying to like build a culture that is completely thrown meritocracy out of the window, so we can raise women up and take them out of what might have been their natural state. That nurturing state of wife, mother, look after the household, the carer of the family until they turn 18. You know what I mean? And then the husband feels good about himself because he's going out, he's earning, he's taking care of his family. He has that hunter-gatherer mentality. But they're trying to beat that out of men and women. You know what I mean? They say men who think like that, toxic masculinity is still a thing in this country. They ram it down your throat every 5 minutes. They beat you over the head with it. They would see someone like me who tries to be like that, tries to be, I hate the word alpha, but tries to be an alpha male in the way he carries himself. They see that as someone who should be shunned and brushed aside from society. They want a more meek, malleable, pliable man, and they want women to be more assertive and take the roles that men used to be in charge of.
Well, that's a very interesting take, and I agree with you. And I think it's crazy when you think about it is basically social engineering. And why are they social engineering this? How come they're propping up women artificially? You see over in Europe, you see a lot of masculine men in Europe. They just happen to be all the immigrants, right? I was talking about this with somebody the other day, and I said, you got the American men, and if they say the wrong thing to a woman, they get in trouble. But then you got men over there in Europe and different places, and also here in America that are immigrants that are part of grooming gangs, or they do these horrendous acts, and then people say, oh well, that's normal in their culture. So we got this double standard that the Western men we get in this bind where we can't act out on our sexual impulses, but then men from other parts of the world that immigrate here, they say, oh no, that's okay, that's part of their culture.
They give him a free pass.
They give him a free pass, right? So I start to think about this, and I'm thinking, oh, are they just trying to weed out the masculinity from the West, and they're trying to replace it with third world culture masculinity? Is that what's going on here? Where are the feminists talking about what's going on with Sharia law, talking about all these other things? Like they treat women pretty bad. They make them wear a burqa, they make them wear all these kind of things. And where are the feminists? They don't say anything about that. But say, for example, James, you walk down the street and you whistle at somebody. Oh no, that's going to be a news story at 5:00.
Wolf whistling, yeah.
Yeah, man walks down the street. English man whistles at woman. Now we should make a law that you can't whistle anymore. So it's this whole like social engineering thing. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, well, I made a video about it this week about a guy called Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I don't know whether you're familiar with him. He owns a company called Aeneas, and he's in cycling, he's in football, and he's a minority shareholder of Manchester United. And he did an interview this week where he said Britain has been colonised. And as soon as he said that, our Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, and other leaders such as Sir Ed Davey of the Liberal Democrats, everyone turned on him and said he had to immediately apologise for using the word colonised. And you can tell our country it's radically changing through illegal and legal migration. And this is a guy who is a self-made billionaire. He answers to no one. He lives in Monaco. He can literally have anything he wants in the world at the click of his fingers. But Keir Starmer still forced this man to apologise because Sir Jim Ratcliffe realised that if people turn on him, they can make life very difficult for him in his business life.
Yeah.
And, pretty much like they're trying to make life difficult for Elon Musk with the free speech platform in X. Europeans and people in the United Kingdom don't like that he slightly bends to the right. They want him to bend to the far left because it's not pumping out the propaganda that they want. So they have to try and find a way to curb it. And they're using Grok as a stick to beat it with, because they say Grok makes child abuse images. So therefore, we're going to find him and then we're eventually going to ban him. So this is the kind of like country we are, and it is trying to change it. There will be no one on the left, right, that will criticize, say, this black footballer that came out and said there would be no football in this country if it wasn't for immigrants, which is a complete lie, because white people are very good at football. In fact, we're some of the best footballers in the world, white people. So that's bullshit. But she was allowed to say that and there was no pushback. It only goes one way, like you said. It's like they will defend Palestine, and the actions of the Palestinians. You have trans people, right, fucking sticking up for Palestine and Palestinians. That's their right. But if they were living in Palestine, they would be the first people thrown off a wall, stoned to death, or hanging from a rope. You know what I mean? Because they don't accept that in their culture. And yet you still find the people in our country defending them. It's like turkeys voting for Christmas. You know what I mean? It's a ridiculous. The mind doesn't really add up. The way they think.
Well, once you start to think about it, you see that all the pressure and all of the these restrictions are being put on Western men. That's who they're being put on, Western men. You're more than welcome to be masculine in other societies and other cultures that come to the West. It's okay to be masculine. It's okay to act out. I don't know how many videos I've seen of different men grabbing women in Europe and trying to pull them into an alley, and that's okay, to the point where women they tell women not to walk at night now. They don't go after the men and tell them to behave. They tell the women, just don't go outside. Just don't do that. So my point being is that this whole like feminism thing is a complete bullshit, because it's only being applied to Western men. It's an attack upon Western masculine society, Western culture. We got Professor Grass in the chat. He says, shout out to the fellas. Shout out to you, Professor Grass. Hoping you're having a great day with the family somewhere. We had Tank Ferret. He had a really good comment earlier. He said that him and his wife realized long ago that when they had to be civil with each other, or things got ugly fast. And when one of us is pissed off, the other will just nod, smile, and look for a solution. That's when you know you have a good partner, a good spouse. He says, not that either one of us would ever back down. We just go into diplomatic mode. And I think that's so important that when you're in a relationship, you cannot fight below the belt. James, I'm sure you've known people, and I have known people that once you get in a fight with them, they want to throw every nasty thing at you just to win the fight. I heard Ethan Ralph throw some pretty nasty things at Mersh that were very personal, and I was just like, wow, that's over the line. You don't say that kind of stuff when you're fighting, for entertainment. It's just ridiculous. And when you're in a relationship, you don't fight. You don't say, oh, well, so-and-so, your mom, used to dress you up in a dress when you were a child. You told me that in confidence, and that's why you're such a big pussy. You don't do that kind of stuff, right? Have you had that kind of experience, James, or have you seen friends go through that kind of stuff?
I will answer that question, but just to go quick back and loop what we were talking about, there was a Labour MP called Naz Shah, right? And we had all the problems with grooming gangs. She said that the white girls will have to suffer what happens to them for the sake of integration and social cohesion.
There you go.
So she said we have to sacrifice all these white girls, children, at the altar of Muslim rape gangs for the fact that we have to have social cohesion and we have to integrate. So they have to suffer. That's the kind of sickness you've got in this country, that we have to throw these girls under the bus for social cohesion. But going back to what you just said, I think the two things that I've seen recently that I didn't like what Ralph brought up about Mersh. I'm not going to say it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know whether it's lies or whether it's truth or whatever. But what he brought up about Mersh, I didn't like. That's what I call hitting below the belt.
Despicable.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was despicable.
There's certain areas you don't go into. And then I always talk about Ethan Van Sciver, but I always talk about it in a very mature way. One thing I will never say about Ethan Van Sciver is he's not a good father and he's not a good husband, because he is. He takes care of his wife, who is suffering from a terrible illness, and I wish her all the best. And also his daughter has a disability, which he's now taking on that burden of, like, he's basically getting into single parent territory, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he still has to earn a living. So all credit and all respect to him. But there is a lot of people who dislike Ethan that will hit him, right? Yellow Flash did this when he was on stream with Anna, and Anna didn't say a fucking word. And if I was Ethan Van Sciver, I'd have never spoken to Anna again, because she didn't stick up for him.
Yeah.
I know they might be on the outs now, but I would, if I was in a room and I like someone that I liked, like you or anyone, and they were hitting below the belt about your family, I would have fronted up and said, mate, like, shut your mouth or I'm leaving the stream straight away, because I don't agree with it. I would have dropped straight out, because he was talking about his wife, mocking her. He was like mocking the daughter, saying he was a bad parent. And it's like, take that shit out of your mouth, mate. It's like, it's not like Will Smith, when he was like fucking about Jada. I mean, she was fucking everyone. She's a skank. This is, going after someone's wife who's got like a terminal illness.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And a daughter that's got a disability that's going to be with her for the rest of her life. Ethan, I bet you in his head, he's like, I hope I live to 100 so I can take care of my family. You know what I mean?
And he
Just
said
give me
that,
more time, give me more time, give me more time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I respect that. I respect him as a husband. I respect him as a father. I disagree with him on other stuff, but you should definitely leave family and personal. It's one-on-one. It's never like, I don't like, my family are not involved in any of this. Your family are not involved in any of this. If you've got a grievance, come at us one-on-one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to King Yeti in the chat. He says, you force assimilation on the foreigners, not on the citizenry. And I completely agree with that. Yeah.
They won't change though. You're right though, aren't they? They've got that attitude. They have that very old school, religious, masculine attitude. I've seen it, right? I always post you the videos of where fights kick off, because some of them just have grabbed children. Some of them have grabbed women. They've groped them. They practically twisted their fucking tit off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of these people have very savage mentalities that you just see a woman, you grab her, you drag her into the alley, and you rape her.
Well,
I mean, someone posted, what was he posted the other day? It was Brando. he posted about like in India. I don't know if this is true, but he said they've legalized like sex with dogs or something, or
Oh,
some weird shit like that. And we're bringing the culture. We're bringing this culture into our country, and some of these cultures openly have sex with animals. What do you think they're going to fucking do to our women and children? You know what I
100%.
mean? We can't
Yeah.
be there to protect them all the time. They have a very medieval, disgusting, savage. Some of them are very savage.
No, it's the truth. And the thing that really gets me is that they're putting restrictions and they're putting, these terms that Western men have to, concede to. We have to live by these filters that we have to live by. We have to constantly be bending over, jumping through hoops. And then these whole other nations that they're bringing in, they're letting them get away with murder, literally getting away with murder. And it really goes to show you that all of these narratives that we've been dealing with for the past 30, 40, 50, I don't know, 60 years, feminism, global warming, masculinity, all this kind of stuff is all bullshit. It's not real. It's not true. And it changes on a dime to suit whoever's in power. And the people that are in power is not who we're voting for, because when we vote, it doesn't seem to do anything. You vote your socks off and nothing changes. We didn't agree to have all these AI data centers everywhere. We didn't agree to have the AI data centers drive up all our electrical bills. We didn't vote to have the AI data centers drive up the DDR, the RAM bills, and all the bullshit like that, just so that they can dump AI slop everywhere and then turn around. They created the problem with the AI. Then they want to go ahead and implement the solution, which is more censorship upon, James and over you guys over there in England, because of what they've done with AI. How about going after Grok? How about going after, Elon for creating this stuff without any kind of rules or any kind of regulations about it, and then just dumping it on out into society? And that's kind of the big thing that I want to, point out, is that, hey, there's a selective, bit of, there's selective rules that they're applying to a certain group of people because they're trying to engineer society in a certain direction for a purpose that is unseen. And we have to wake up and we have to see that. We have to see what's going on.
Well, I knew Donald Trump was going to be an incredible disappointment in his second term, but I didn't know he'd be this disappointing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has been. I can't think of one law that he's actually passed. He's just signed executive orders that are going to get, well, once the midterms have come over and the Republicans get slaughtered, that's just going to get overturned just like that. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem to be switched on or in it. So you have to ask, who's controlling Donald Trump? Because everything that he said he was going to do and he set out to do, he's got lost in the weeds.
Yeah.
He seems to just be engaged in foreign wars.
Yeah.
He's marched all your troops to Iran. They're right there ready to kick off. He's still mired in Ukraine. He's got his son-in-law over there dealing with Israel and Palestine. It seems to be all foreign and not domestic. And now Tom Homan has said that the ice advance in Minnesota, that's going to be ended. So that the activists know that when ICE go in, all we've got to do is kick up a massive fuss, grind everything to a halt, and then Donald Trump will retreat because he blinked. And he's not really done anything. And Keir Starmer, like you said, he was elected on a manifesto that was quite centrist. There was stuff in there that people on the right like me could swallow until the next general election. But now that his feet are to the fire and he's going to be gone and Angela Rayner's going to take over sooner, he has done a massive lurch to the left. He's become like open borders, immigration, closer ties with Europe, all our money leaving the United Kingdom and going over to funding projects in Europe. So he's completely betrayed his electorate.
Yeah.
The people that put him in office with a mandate. And I think it's always our side of the pond and your side of the pond where we get screwed the most.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely leading the West. Let me jump down here. We got Skullgrin in the chat. He says, "What's going on? How's everybody doing?" And we also have On the John, who just joined the stream. On the John, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. We're talking about Valentine's Day today. We're talking about a lot of stuff, and we're getting into it. How you doing today, bro?
Good. I just got off working some overtime.
Yeah, you're working overtime to pay for that Valentine's Day date you got later on tonight.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna heat it up, bro.
All the expenses, like Jesus Christ, a hotel room.
Well, you gotta pay for the hooker. You gotta do it all, right?
Exactly.
No, we were gonna shift gears a little bit. We were gonna talk about that. I don't know if you saw on the John that the whole Brett Cooper clavicular thing. For I don't know.
No, I didn't actually.
I don't know if everybody out in the chat's following this clavicular. He's that's a crazy name. It's clavicular. I don't know what that's all about. I guess it's a clavicle and clavicular. I don't know. But
Is he a Roman or something?
no, he's American, and he's this new like influencer, right? He's that guy that likes to bone max and
He was going to have bone breaking, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe 20 foot tall or something.
yeah, and he's coming up with all these new terms about like Jester maxing and the Foyd and all this kind of stuff. And anyway,
Well, Floyd's actually pretty deep, like internet red pill shit.
Yeah.
Floyd is just a female.
yeah,
right?
just a woman, right? And they're taking this opportunity to kind of inject it into the younger generation, and that's how I see it. He's just the latest mascot being rolled out. But I saw something.
I did hear about the Peter Thiel stuff.
Yeah, we'll get
the other night.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and we'll definitely get into that, bro, because we were talking about that the other day. And but he for some reason clavicular wanted to be in a fashion show. You know, he wanted to walk in a men's fashion show or whatever at I think New York Fashion Week. And so he went and he walked in it. Now that's the least masculine thing you can do in my opinion, is walk a fashion show. But he went there, and of course, who else went there? These other female influencers, one of which was Brett Cooper. And when she met him, she lit up like a Roman candle. And everybody has been talking about it because obviously she's married, right? So what is she doing going out there to try to meet clavicular? And that kind of goes back to what James and I were talking about earlier about, you know, when you're having a Valentine's Day, you know, these women, you taking her out, is she going to be excited to go out on a Valentine's Day with you? Or is she looking, you know, is she looking for another guy? I mean, like what's even going on nowadays with modern feminism?
Yeah, that could be happening. It's like when girlfriends always break up with your boyfriends on New Year's.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then to be able to go out to the party, you know. And I always tell guys to dump your women around Christmas time, save money on Christmas presents, right? Then you go ahead and you can buy it for yourself. No, I'm just kidding. You don't want to dump anybody. If you have somebody good out there, people out in the chat, if you got somebody good out there, hold on to them for sure. But James, I don't know. Did you see that thing with Brett Cooper where she went and met with?
I'm just having a look at her. I'm not familiar with her. When you said Brett Cooper, I thought you meant the rugby league guy. I know like rugby league Brett Cooper, but I don't know his Spurs.
Okay.
She's not exactly much to look at, is she? She's got
Ben
kind of like a
Shapiro
small.
as a woman, right?
Yeah. No, she's
She's got kind of a small face. Her nose ain't much. Yeah, she's not really my type. She's got like beady eyes as well. You know, I mean, Clavicular's not going to want that. You know what I mean?
well.
He's going to want. I've seen him hang around. I've seen, unless it's an up jump thing, right? This is the thing I've always got with these people, right? If you see it as a ladder, right, and you want to up jump, so take like Ed Matty and HS Tiki Toki. If someone becomes big, they will start doing shit together on Kick. They'll all get together in the UK or in America, and they'll start doing the up jumping. Anyone who gets a whiff of that clout, I don't like using that word, but like gets a whiff of it, they'll start hanging out, doing stock content together so they can do an up jumper thing. So if it's that, and they're doing an up jumper thing, and maybe they're doing a poke on the sly, but her husband should step in then if she's married and fucking, and like,
Yeah.
the first thing I do, right, I do it in public. If this was me, right, and like people were saying that my missus was eyeing up that clavicular, I would fucking have him out on the cobble straight away, and I would iron him out. You know what I mean? Because you have to show your wife. If you love your wife that much and you want to keep, if you don't want to keep her and you want to fuck her off, get rid of her. But if you love your wife and you want to keep her, you've got to smack the shit out of that clavicular to show her you're the man.
Yeah.
You got it.
Alternatively, I think.
Yeah.
like,
What would you do, John?
if you want to take out clavicular or clavicle or whatever, what you do is you show up in like a fake muscle suit and mog him like that other bodybuilder. Just fucking be super jacked and just stand there menacing. I mean, in a normal situation, I would agree with James. You got to, you're gonna have to fight for your girl, right?
No, 100%. Okay, so let me just shout out this real quick. We got a little tip from Ric Flair's hair. Woo! We got a little tip from Ric Flair's hair. Let me try to play this little bit of excitement right there. Let's fucking go. And $50 Ric Flair's hair. He says, woo! Thanks, Ric Flair. That's fucking amazing. Big clap for you. I hope that I played a sound effect. I hope that came through okay. But okay, no. Okay, on the John, here's what I'm thinking, right? All right. This takes me back to the Tombstone. Did you ever watch Tombstone? It had like Val Kilmer in it, and You know, it had
yeah,
Kurt
yeah.
Russell.
Oh, you're going to do the cup thing, ain't you?
It's the cup
You're gonna do the
thing.
cup.
It's the
You're
cup
gonna do
thing.
the cup thing.
Exactly. So Val Kilmer, you know, Doc Holliday, he's there with Johnny Ringo or whatever. Johnny Ringo does the thing with the guns in the, you know, in the bar or whatever. Everybody in the chat, if you guys have seen that, you know, he does the thing with the chat with the guns. And then everybody looks at Doc Holliday, who's Val Kilmer, and they go, okay, buddy, well, what are you going to do? And then he gets the cup out and he does the thing with the cup and he makes everybody laugh, but he proves his point. And as a man, that's what you have to do. You can't do it the other way. You can't try to match him and then compete with him. You have to, you know, break the whole format and then make him look like a fool. That's what you got to do, John, right? I mean, am I wrong here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
You got to troll his ass. Like, I understand. I hear what James is saying. You got to knock his ass out. But I think you got to troll that motherfucker and beat him on the social aspect, not in the physical aspect, because I don't really think he's that physical anyway. I think he just kind
I've
of.
seen him. He looks like that. Who was that politician that used to hang around with Marjorie Taylor Greene? He got booted out. They always said there was a stink of sex about him. You know, like sexual.
Florida. He's a Florida. Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, mate. He looks like Matt Gaetz. He's puffy looking. So I don't reckon he's going to be much into the fighting, to be fair.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Well,
I want to fight with
a lot of.
I want to fight with anyone. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, here's the thing, right? Okay, now women out in the chat, women, if you're listening to this, tell me what you think, right? Like, you want a guy who's rugged and attractive, but you don't want a man who's more pretty than you are. You don't want a man who puts more makeup on than you do. You don't want a man who does their hair more than you do. You don't want a man who's afraid to go get his nails dirty or whatever, right? You want a man who like just throws on a t-shirt. He's got his whatever abs or whatever, or whatever shape he's in, and he puts on his jeans and he's ready to go. And you go out there and you're the one that's the pretty one. The woman is the pretty one. But then if anything happens, the man is ready to fucking throw down and put a knuckle through a fucking steel door or whatever to make to protect his women, to prove his point. You know, kind of like what James is talking about. You know, John, what do you think? I mean, that's what it should be, right? You don't want a pretty man.
Yeah,
like, what's
no,
a
I
pretty
agree.
man? Right? Isn't that almost a little bit gay? That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, like, isn't that how you identify the gay man? Is just, oh, he's too pretty.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too.
Does too much.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too is that like pretty soon women start making fun of you for being too pretty, too gay. I don't know if you guys have ever had that happen, but I've definitely had it happen in my life.
Unless you're Prince,
and it's weird.
Prince could do it.
Well, Prince, you know, Prince is also, you know, generational talent. He's also, you know, I'm pretty sure he's a leprechaun because he's so short. He was so short.
It's like Bowie as well. Bowie was very feminine.
Oh yeah.
But those
he had that androgynous look.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ric Flair's hair. He says he always outdresses his girl, and he's styling. So, bro, apparently, yeah, that's true too. Ric Flair's hair. I mean, hey, he's the nature boy. He's got to get out there. He's got to do his thing. I get that.
Woo!
That's right. King Yeti. He says in the chat. He says, "I love the you talk big for someone that you don't go heel. I don't need to go heel to drop on a dupe like you." He smacks him and says, "You gonna do something? Or you just gonna stand there and bleed?" Oh, that was another line from Tombstone, and that was when what's his name? Was Kurt Russell? He was out there, and Billy Bob Thornton came up on him with that. He was with that pistol, and he was dealing cards, and he smacked him in the face, and he said, "Are you gonna yank that? I don't know, what did he call it? That pistol or whatever."
Something.
Yeah, but if you guys haven't seen Tombstone, go watch it. It's one of the best movies ever made. I recently ran into some people who hadn't seen it, and I couldn't believe it. But as a man, that's what you have to do. You can't always match force with force in order to win the situation. Sometimes you have to match.
Humor's a good thing.
Yeah.
Humor's a good thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to match it with humor. You have to match it with something else. Now, I wanted to ask you guys a question, okay? Have you ever had a terrible Valentine's Day experience? On the John, we'll come to you first. Have you ever had a terrible Valentine's Day experience or a fantastic Valentine's Day experience? Have you had one of those two things or not really?
Not really. I mean, I guess terrible Valentine's Day is I don't know, I'm single, and it's like
yeah, for sure.
Like, oh, I actually have a question. Do you think like the day after Valentine's might be a good day to go out and pick up chicks?
Oh, that's a great question. James, what do you think? You think
all those broken hearts, yeah, mate.
Yeah.
They'd be easy to pick up, wouldn't they?
Well, not
all
only
those sad, lonely women.
Not only that, but if you stop off at the store first, you can get that chocolate 90% off. and then you can just go buy a bundle of it,
true.
and you can like mend a lot of hearts that way. So that's a pretty ingenious
There you
idea.
go, life hack.
Yeah, it's a life hack right there. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but they used to have, I don't know if they do it anymore, 90% off all the candy the day after Christmas, the day after Valentine's Day. And I used to pile up with that stuff. Now, James, have you ever had a fantastic Valentine's Day experience or a terrible Valentine's Day experience? Have you ever had anything like that happen to you?
I've had an atrocious one.
Oh.
I went on to, like, we had the romantic break in Paris, long weekend, and on the Saturday, which was like the big night was Saturday, and it was like I went out and went to this restaurant, and I don't speak French, and I just wanted a nice simple pasta, and I ended up getting like this pasta soup. It was like swimming in fucking garlic and shit. It was terrible, but I ate it because I was hungry. And then it was like we kicked on later, and it was like we didn't really know the area, so we went to these bars and like kind of like a club, but it was like empty because over there it's like later 4 o'clock it really kicks off. It's later culture.
But they go like
And
all
like,
night, don't they?
Yeah, I was drinking. I went into this thing and I was like drinking this fucking absinthe, but it was like it was absinthe, but it was like dark black. So I had like 3 or 4 shots of this, and I was completely fucked. By the time we got back to the hotel, I don't know what was in it or what it was. I don't think it was absinthe. It was just like it was pitch black. It looked like death.
Wow.
And I had 3 or 4 shots of this, right? And I was all over the place. I was shouting, I was swearing, I was ranting, I was raving, I was going all over the hotel room. And I was sick and I shit everywhere, right? And I completely ruined the night because I just couldn't control I was so sick and ill, and I was just like vomiting and shitting everywhere. And the sheets were a mess. It was so bad, right? I'd ruined the night, like this romantic night. And in the morning, my girlfriend, she was so embarrassed, right? We snuck out early in the morning, and I was white as a sheet because the sheets were so foul, right? And then when we walked back to the room, we saw like the maid, and she looked at me like she could fucking kill me.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And we went in, and she cleaned it all up, but the sheets were just, I don't know what it was, but you know when you just go white, like deathly white.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God.
Well, see, ladies and gentlemen,
I feel fucking terrible.
that just proves my point. That's why you have sex before the date. You don't have it after the date when you get all fucked up, bro. An absinthe, licorice. I don't like that at all. That's wild.
It's like, I don't know what I don't. It was like black. I thought absinthe was like green color or something. Like fucking. But this thing was like fucking jet. But he could have been mugging me off because he didn't like English people and gave me some like top shelf roll or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the problem when you're in a foreign country and you don't understand the language. You're kind of like at the mercy of other people either liking you or not liking you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could bump up the prices, or if they like you, they might lower the prices. They might give you the good alcohol, they might give you the bad alcohol. This thing was top shelf and dusty. You know when it's like really in a bottle, it's so dusty.
Yeah.
He's got it off the top shelf and he's like, hey, have a couple of, and I'm like a cocky son of a bitch. I'm like, I can do this, it's nothing. And I done like 4 quickly, and I was just done. Top to bottom, 4. I was ruined.
Holy shit, bro. Damn. And then shit the bed. Yeah, that sucks, bro. Wow.
Yeah, man. And you gotta be honest about it.
Literally shit the bed.
We split up. We split up like soon after that.
Was it?
Oh, really? Do you think it's related?
Nah.
You don't think it had anything to do with the actual shit in the bed, bro?
No, I don't think so. I just think, like you said, it'd run its course. I was bored. She was bored. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, I mean,
that's why we went to Paris. That's why we went to Paris in the first place. Because it's like it was one of those trips, you know, like we give it one last shot. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
We give it a shot. You know what I mean? We'll go there. We'll get out of the country. We'll give it a shot. And I was tapped out, and she was tapped out. So that's why I wasn't too worried about like. I didn't even see it as a humiliation. I just saw it as an experience. I'd had these drinks and I literally shit the bed. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it don't matter. It's fun. I laughed afterwards. It was funny.
Yeah, we got a spiritual God.
You didn't see the funny side of it, but I did.
Spiritual God Warrior in the chat. He says, Happy Love Day. Happy Love Day to you, bro. Hope you're going to have a great Valentine's today. Get some of them chocolates. I had I've had good Valentine's Day and I've had a bad Valentine's Day. One of the bad ones was, you set up this whole thing as guys, we get in this whole thing where we create dates, and women don't know this, but maybe they do after a while. But as a man, when you start to develop your little dating strategy or whatever, you find the right restaurant you like, you find the right bar you like, and you kind of just take all the women there, right? You take them all there initially. And so it all runs nice and smooth, and everything seems like, it runs like it's a Swiss watch,
Yeah, you're just running through the script.
Yeah, the bartender, he knows you, he knows the game plan, he makes you look good, it helps you with the ladies. Then you go to the restaurant, you're familiar with the wait staff, they treat you well. Then the date you're on thinks, oh, this guy's a big time guy or whatever. And it just helps all the way around, helps get that impression and helps make it all solid. Well, I did that took a girl out to a Valentine's Day thing, took her out to the regular usual situation, did the whole thing. And towards the end of the night, I had, the bartender where we had drinks with, he ended up calling her a wrong name, and it wasn't just a random wrong name. Like you could say, oh, okay, well, that's no big deal. It was her friend's name. You know what I'm saying? So she knew who the name was and that I had taken this girl, her friend, there at some point before. And this was the same retread of the date. So, of course, that ended up in a fireworks storm. And, she confronts me about it. I'm not going to sit there and lie. I say, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I can't really remember, And then, of course, that dug me a deeper hole, making me look like some kind of man whore and all this kind of stuff. And she threw a fit. And see, that's another great reason to have sex before the date, people, because,
this is way worse than shit in the bed, I tell you. At least mine was accidental.
Yeah, no, this blew up in my face. And I tell you, the only good thing that came out about that is, of course, then I called her an Uber and whatever, sent her on her way, never went out with her again. But the bartender felt so bad that, like, for the whole next year, my tab, whenever I went to that bar, was only $8. It didn't matter what I bought, didn't matter what I ate, what I drank. If I bought liquor for other people, the bar tab was always only $8. So that was like a silver lining in it. But it yeah, we got Scarface in the chat. He says, Ray over here giving up the goddamn business. Yeah, I'm telling the inside baseball right here. I mean, hey, women out there think, oh my God, all of these dates just came together so serendipitously. No, bro. Us men, we put that stuff together like we're engineering some kind of different, rocket or whatever. We're out there engineering this stuff so it goes nice and smooth. You know what I'm saying on the John? Even to the point where we engineer out the back end where you go for that late night walk on the pier or whatever. And that's what you have to do. You gotta make it that way. Give me a sound check over there real quick on the John to see if the audio dropped up. Okay, let me fix the audio real quick. It dropped out real fast. But no, so that's what you have to do. You have to, and as men, that's what women want to think. They want to think, oh, all this beautiful stuff came together.
It's just for you.
All wonderful, and it came together all nice, and yeah.
If you're a smart man, you rig the game. If you're a smart man, you rig the game. You know what I mean? You've got to think ahead. You know what I mean?
You have
lay the traps.
You have to rig the game. Okay. The only time you don't have to rig the game is if you come from some sort of rich family, or you're like
rigging the game. Right. Is the game.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
And the woman, believe it or not, the woman wants that illusion, right? Because she thinks that the whole cosmos came together to make this night special. So he must be the one. You know what I mean? And it's funny because as men, we're out there, struggling, we're out there competing, we're out there trying to make all this happen. And women are out there, it's like they're the consumer. We're all preparing these meals and we're bringing them to the women to try to get the women to pick one. So you have to do what's best in your favor, what's best in your odds, right on the John, in order to make that happen. I mean, that's the strategy. Scarface, I'm sorry if I kind of let that go, but that's the way it is. That's how we have to do it. Giving away the goddamn business. I mean, James, tell me you haven't done that. I mean, I used to have the same 2 or 3 bars. I knew everybody in there. I knew there 1 or 2 different restaurants that I would go to, and I would always end it with a walk on the beach. You know what I'm saying? And that was locked in right there, bro. Locked in.
Yeah, I'm like a creature of habit. You know what I mean? I like to dress a certain way. I like to eat a certain way. I like to go to certain places. I like to be comfortable in my environment. I like to know the people that are in there, so we got a good chat and a good power. And that way, you know, when you've got all that picture, you go, oh my God, he knows a lot of people, doesn't he? You know, he's on first name basis with these people. They talk to him and treat him with respect. You know, he must be someone of value.
It's the
He
truth.
must be someone, he must be a big time player. You know what I mean? That's what you got to do. Even if you're small time, you got to act up like you're big time. Like when I told you, whatever room I go into, I act like I'm the most important person in the room. You know, I front it, I
Right.
give it the big I am. And
And
I'm
women
not.
like that when
I'm
you
very
lie
far. I'm
about
very
like
far from
when
it.
you puff yourself up.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's called
If you
swagger.
don't believe in yourself, who else will?
And that's what women are attracted to. They're attracted to that swagger, even if it's real or if it's fake. However much you believe it, it's how much it works. One of the other tips that I was going to put is like, so I go to these same restaurants, right? I know the wait staff, okay? And sometimes there'll be female wait staff, okay? So then I can flirt with that female waitress, right? And then that makes my date go, wait a minute. What's going on here? And then, of course, the female waitress will flirt back with me because I've been there so many times. She knows I tip her well. She knows, you know, I bring dates here. And so she knows the game. She goes along like a good wingman, and she helps me out. And she giggles, and she does all this stuff. And so that makes my date think that, you know, I'm more valuable. It's all about these social cues, these social signals that we're trying to send. And so that's like a little bit of a tip right there for you guys, too, is that like flirt with the waitress. Now, don't do this. If it's a man, don't flirt with him, okay? Because that will not end well, people. Don't do that.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? When you're more attracted to the waitress than your date.
Well, I mean, hell yeah, of course. Now, sometimes that's pretty good.
And your eyes keep glancing. It's like, well, you focus on me, and you're like,
yeah, well,
you're doing that thing where you're looking off, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean, then you got to go hit on the waitress. Maybe you got the wrong girl out on a date. That happens sometimes. Scarface is out there laughing in the chat. He says we got the same playbook. 100% facts, bro. You know, these are all the little kind of signals that you send to women. You don't want to look like you're desperate. You don't want to look like you're hungry. And I'm, of course, only speaking from the male perspective because I don't really understand or know what the female perspective is. But I do know this. I do know the more that a woman tries to make you change, and the more that you do change, the less she wants you. Okay, so the more you change for a woman, the less sexually desirable you become. All right, so you guys, all you guys out there got to keep that in mind. Now, women are designed to do that, right? That's not a bad thing that women do. That
They're
women
testing you.
They have to. They search out weakness, and they search out weakness so that they can, find the strongest man to have kids with or whatever. Try to make the strongest offspring. That's normal. That's nature. But as men, you have to understand this. I mean, sometimes men, you get you get a dry spell for so long that you just want to, have a little bit of, box or whatever that you say, okay, whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want. And that dries up the whole sexual desire from the female side. You got
pussy whipped.
Yeah. You have to keep that polarity. You got to stay masculine so that they can stay feminine. And so that creates that attraction right there.
Right.
That's what you have to do.
Friction or a tension.
Exactly. That you get it. John, he got it. It has to have that sexual tension that you can cut with a knife. That like you don't know if you're fucking angry or you just want to fuck right then and there, right there in front of everybody at the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? James, have you ever experienced that?
Well, I remember that's what they all done to my mates, mate. That's why I'm the last of the small time playboys. You know what I mean? All my mates got captured. They settled down into a relationship and a marriage. And as soon as they got into it, their partners changed them. It was like, well, you can't go down the pub no more. You can't go down the gym. You can't go to the snooker hall. You've got me to take care of and the kids. You can't go clubbing. You can't go to the football. You've got responsibilities. So all those guys, they've got the family. But yeah, look at me. I'm on stream. I can drink when I want. You know what I mean? I can make red velvet cakes when I want. You know what I mean? I can flirt with any woman I want. Who's the real winner? Them or me?
Facts, bro. But red velvet cake, bro, that's based. John, were you going to say something before I jumped over there?
I was, but I completely. Oh, I was going to say women want a guy they think could kill them, but won't.
Oh, facts.
They
bro.
want someone dangerous.
Yeah, facts. No, that's
like Ethan Ralph. He's dangerous, isn't he? The Ralpha male.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Ralpha male.
I think I've been
watching streams this week. I've been watching Dr. Till and I've been watching Mersh, and I'm learning all of Ralpha male's secrets. You know what I mean? Of how to pull women.
Yeah, facts, bro. The only thing, you know, if Ethan Ralph just stayed like a mean person, I think he'd get more women than like caving and trying to call her mommy Scarlet. That's a little bit creepy. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
That was so fucking creepy. We got a little super chat. We got one from Scarface. He says, I have the out that those waitresses used to are currently work for me. Oh, I think he's saying that I have the out that those waitresses used to or currently work for me. Yeah.
He's a restaurateur now, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's got a restaurant.
Shout out to Scarface out there. He's a restaurateur out there in Florida. So if you're in Florida, go by Scarface's little spot. He's they're redoing it right now. He's going to make it into some fantastic spot. He's been showing some of the.
Does he mean like the out, as in like, oh, that's why I'm flirting with the waitress? Like, I mean,
oh, that's what he means. He's got the out with him, so he can flirt with them because he runs the restaurant, so he can just have a good time. And then at any time he can change his mind and say, okay, no, I'm serious. I see what you're doing out there, Scarface. That's pretty smart. But
okay, so
he's got that weird dynamic,
own a restaurant.
What do you say, John?
I said, step one, own a restaurant.
Yeah, facts. I mean, that helps you right there, right, James? I mean, he owns the fucking restaurant, and then he can just.
He's got that weird dynamic now, anyway. They want to please the owner.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? It's like it's an enviable position to be in. You know.
Yeah, he's got.
The owner's putting it. The owner's putting it on me. Well, I better go along if I want to keep my job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's facts, right? And let me say the other thing too is, he owns the restaurant. It's really nice, but he also is able to. He's a fantastic cook as well. I've seen some of the stuff that he cooks, and I tell you what, if you make something fantastic for a woman and you serve it to her, that could change her mind about you in a heartbeat. If you make, I don't know, if you make a pasta for her, all of a sudden now she's got. Wait a minute, this guy just kind of. He's not just a friend. He can cook whatever he can, and somehow that's tied to the women's libido. They got all excited about it.
He's potential.
Right. And then so that's what women kind of look for, right? They look for potential and they look for clout, and they just kind of go crazy about it. Ric Flair's hair, he says, yeah, that's the long con. Yeah, that's the long way around for sure. 100%. Shout out to him. Oh wait, Scarface says he doesn't own it. His buddy's the owner, and he has the chance to get partial ownership in the next year. Okay, my bad. So I was little correction there. But Scarface is a hell of a chef. He sent me some of his recipes that I've been trying out, and I'll be making a video about those here pretty soon. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah. So the more you change for her, the more she changes, and the less that she's attracted to you. That's basically how it works. She's gonna shit test you all the time. What was that, John?
One thing that Kyle White from Ministry of Dude, the show that I'm on.
Yeah.
Every weeknight at 8 EST on Ministry of Dude, Dr. Till. Kyle White always says women they'll allow you to enjoy a hobby or something that will actually make them less attracted to you.
I agree with that. Also, definitely go watch Ministry of the Dude. It's on 5 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 8 Eastern time. Ministry of the Dude with On the John, Dr. Till, Kyle White, and Johnny motherfucking Rocket. Great guys. But no, I agree. Women will. It's so funny, bro. Women are hilarious, right? They'll throw landmines out there and they'll see what you do about it. They'll like let you fall in love with a hobby. Let you go down the road, and then all of a sudden, after a year, say, what the hell have you been investing all this money in trains for, in model trains in your basement? How come you're not blah, 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 whatever? And then you're like, I thought you said it was okay. And then she's like, well, I wanted to test and see if you knew what was what. And then you're like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell is going on here. So that's why.
Are they consciously testing you? I thought it was kind of like a bit of both.
It is both. I think it is both. I think women operate on a very emotional, frequency, a very emotional vibe. And as men, you have to always pursue your passion. You have to be about whatever foundational pursuit in your life that you want to stay with, and then you have to follow that 100%, and then have the woman come along with you because as soon as you make the woman your pursuit, you're in trouble. That's terrible. What are some of the?
You have to ignore them.
Yeah, you do. You have to ignore them. And what's crazy is, James, women actually like that. Women like it when you put them in their place a little bit. You know what I'm saying, James? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, you got to give them a backhand time.
a little
give them the old,
Sean Connery.
Yeah, you got to give him a bit of Ethan Ralph, ain't you? Sometime,
Give him
Bish.
the
You know
old
what I'm
pimp
saying?
named
But no,
Slickback.
yeah, I like it. I like that fucking. I like that relationship that's a bit like that movie, like War of the Roses. You know what I mean? I like that where you go at each other. There's a bit of passion. There's a bit of fight. There's some there's antagonistic. I'd hate to be in a relationship where it's very dour, very boring. Oh yes, darling. No, darling. You know what I mean? Very prim and proper. I want it to be a bit feisty, a little bit physical, sexually physical, not violence physical. But you know what I mean? I want that passion. When you walk through the door, right, and you give your bird a slap on the arse, you know what I mean? You're all sexy. Get that dinner on, darling. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be a bit like that. You know what I mean? That's the shit that turns me on. You know what I mean? I like the feistiness. I like the fighting. I like, when they go off and have a little fucking ag at you. But I also want to be able to do my thing. I want to go. I want to go and play football. I want to go and watch football, and I want to go down the pub. I don't want anything getting in the way of my enjoyment of those activities.
And there is such a thing as like too much conflict being in the not just in the relationship, it is the relationship.
That's
Two
true.
people actually like hate each other and they're like really toxic and yelling all the time, but they can't get away from each other. That's like that can happen.
That's that you fight to have sex.
Beware of that.
You get mad at each other, you have that fight, so you have the breakup sex, and then you have the get back together sex, and it's like the whole relationship is just to generate the energy to have that amazing sexual chemistry, but the whole relationship is just fighting. It's just it's just toxic. It's terrible. Have you experienced something like that, John? Have you ever been in a relationship like that?
No, but I know someone who was in a relationship like that. He's a friend of the show, actually. I don't want to out him, but Riley had a similar relationship with his ex, Mint.
Yes.
Mint Salad.
Yes.
They screamed at each other a lot.
Oh, did they?
And like, I think she even hit him more than a few times, like fucked up his teeth and shit.
Oh, no way, bro. Oh my God. If a woman,
for real, ask him about that.
Wow. Yeah. That's no bueno. I definitely draw the line definitely at physical abuse. And it's also, women don't just get to break the rules just because they're women. They don't get to all of a sudden pull a knife on you just because they're a woman. That's some wild shit, right? James, have you ever had anybody break your teeth or pull a knife on you? I don't think so, right?
You ever
No, because I would
Latin
find that
women?
I would find that whole thing emasculating. You know what I mean? If it happened once, it wouldn't happen twice. I would just walk away.
I agree.
It wouldn't be like any. There wouldn't be any fighting. There wouldn't be me physically fighting. There wouldn't be any fighting for me to keep the relationship alive. If she took a liberty once, she's going to take a liberty twice. So I'm just walking out the fucking door. You know what I mean? Because there'll be a time, right? There'll be a time where it won't be a slap. It'll be a knife.
Yeah.
It'll be a saucepan around the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in America, it's even different in it because you bring weapons into play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like fucking. You know what I mean? I might wake up one day and get a John Wayne Bobbitt or a fucking knife in the guts. You know what I mean? So I'm walking straight out the fucking door, mate.
Yeah.
If that happens.
King Yeti in the chat, he says this topic is his forte. If anybody in the chat has any tips about this kind of stuff, drop them in the chat. I'll read them out. DJ John says, I don't want to out him, but ... laughy face.
I will. I am.
That's what that's what on the John just did. That's hilarious. Yeah, I've never had any kind of relationships with physical violence. I couldn't tolerate it, man. I mean,
the second that happens, we're done.
100%, because I'm thinking the whole time, if she's gonna do this to me, what is she gonna do to the children if we have children?
That too.
And I can't tolerate that, bro. I can't handle anybody doing anything to kids, man. That shit drives me nuts.
One of the horrible aspects of women is they do that to the kids.
Yeah.
Like they'll punish the kids to punish the father.
Oh, and that's true. We've seen that. Some women do that as also completely. In fact, I've had friends who their mother had treated them poorly because they reminded them of the father. And it wasn't even like, they were already divorced. They were separated. The guy, we were in our teens at that time. We played baseball together, and I would drop him off at his house after baseball practice and have his mom I'd hear her yelling at him, "You remind me of your father," and that kind of goes back to when we had that conversation, James. about, fighting below the belt. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever get with somebody who's going to fight and hurt you and try to strike you below the belt. Right, Jay? Do you feel that way, James?
Yeah, well, I love women as much as the next guy, but some of them can be right fucking arseholes, can't they? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just in their nature, some women. Some women can be violent, some women can be naggers. You know what I mean? And these relationships are just unhealthy. So if you're in an unhealthy relationship, I just say walk away.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do sometimes. There's always going to be someone different, someone better out there. Like I always say to these people that are struggling online, you know what I mean? You go out, get amongst it, taste it, smell it, experience it. It's much better in real life than trying to pursue something imaginary online. You want to be out amongst it and taste it.
It's the only way to like meet women these days too. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Get any matches on Tinder.
Well, and with the new AI stuff, they can do those new filters where they can make basically a man look like Sydney Sweeney on camera. You're going to have to go out and meet people in real life because now you don't know who you're meeting. We have Scarface in the chat. He said he had a Baker Act an ex, and I think that's a Florida law that means something. I'm not sure what it means, but it means that.
Oh, is that like get someone institutionalized?
Yeah, put her in the loony bin, I think.
Cali is something different. It's called something different.
yeah. We just put them in the oven in Cali. Carrie says, pay attention to how your date treats other people, especially kids, elderly, pets. I would include wait staff in that. I had an ex-girlfriend one time, I think I've told this before, where she had a younger brother and she yelled at him like bloody murder a few times, and it just freaked me out because I never heard her do that before. And the rage that came out of her made me really reconsider our relationship. Carrie says it's a 72-hour hold for the Baker Act. Yeah, facts right that. Yeah, so but I mean that's what a man should be looking for all the time is like what kind of, besides the fact that of course we're horny, right? We want to we want to get it in. We should be looking for what kind of woman is this going to be? What kind of mother is this going to be?
You should be testing her.
There you go. There you go. Right. If you're the only one to be tested, you created a weird power dynamic right there in the relationship, and you're going to lose, right? Because no person is designed to be tested 365 days a year. It's like, motherfucker, give me a fucking break. You know what I'm saying?
We should all be trying to find our own Scarlett Hampton. That's what we should be doing,
bro. Bro, how about
too
that?
Many people have actually found Scarlett Hampton, so I'm gonna.
No, you gotta pass on Scarlett there, John. Yeah, what about that? Didn't Ralph just had that big stream? And I was watching Mersh last night in Nightwave, and he was.
I didn't watch any of it. We watched a little bit on Ministry Dude actually.
Well, I think he streamed again last night.
Yes, we checked it out last night.
Yeah. And that's wild. I don't even know what's going on with that. It's almost like, now it's become popular to watch people's mental insanity. That has become content. It's no longer. Do you think
that's always been popular?
But never to this degree, right? I mean,
never to this degree, but we've never had this much access to people.
Well, that's true.
Right.
I guess you're right. We used to watch Cops. I used to love that show when I was little. And I guess that's a form of it. You're right. The cops are chasing down the criminals and they're doing bad stuff. But now we're watching people like Scarlett Hampton, like Ethan Ralph's on drugs. Scarlett's like, doing whatever she's doing. And they just get on stream and they talk about whatever, and they have a mental breakdown night after night on stream. And I was like, bro, I thought I left some of my family members behind so I didn't have to deal with this. And now it's like, it's content, right? You on the John,
you kind of a
you were talking about
the internet. Well, it's also part of what makes Ministry Dude good is we're covering some of these people who are online and crazy.
Well, James, you were
profiting off of it.
Yeah, well, I would say, James, you were talking about the numbers are going up. You were talking about Ministry of the Dude like before we came on and Mersh, and you were saying how these other people, their numbers are going down, but their numbers are going up.
Well, you know me, I'm not a big stream watcher. I watched Courtney for a while, and then I love you, Courtney, but she got very stale because she's trying to pursue becoming a full-time YouTuber. And that's the avenue she's trying to go down. She's trying to leave her work behind and become a full-time YouTuber. And I don't, even though she's very funny, good comedian, great personality, nice to look at, she's got all the attributes, but the content's not there to go 5 or 6 days a week.
Right.
And I think the good thing about Ministry of Dude, and like I was working with Mersh, I like the reactionary content. That's what I enjoy. I don't enjoy watching the kill stream. I enjoy people watching the kill stream and making funny
Yes.
comments. And the thing with Ralph is Ralph had a stream yesterday that Mersh was doing, and he was pilled out of his head or drunk out of his head.
Oh, he did get
and he kept
pilled out?
falling asleep. He
Mhm.
kept, he kept falling asleep. And Wayne Lambright was basically running his stream. And he had two women on there. I was like, well done, Ralph. You got two women. But Scarlett was batshit crazy, and the other bird looked like a tranny. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Apparently,
Ruby,
this bird.
she's
Yeah,
also nuts.
yeah.
A lot of
Apparently, this
amphetamines.
bird's like a millionaire now or something. She got a big
Yeah.
win or something. Yeah. So she becomes more attractive to Ralph. But the fact she looks like a man and Scarlett's contribution is zero, she just goes, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And then every time someone talks, she'll talk over them. And she goes, "Is the sound okay?" She's completely off her rocker, right?
Yeah.
But I enjoy the comments that are made by Mersh in the chat. It's entertaining. It's the same thing with Dr. Till. And the thing that really annoyed me, I think it was Dr. Till brought this up yesterday, when we were talking about this earlier, is how Aaron thinks he's bullying Ethan Van Sciver now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right? He thinks
He's
he's a
delusional.
boxer. He thinks he's an alpha male, and he thinks he's bullying Ethan Van Sciver. He goes, "I want the 2019 Ethan Van Sciver. You know, I want prime Ethan Van Sciver." And I'm like, dude, he was never prime in his online career. He was prime when he was at DC. You know what I mean? He's just trying now. He's doing streams that barely anyone's watching because he's trying to earn money for his family who are doing it tough. And you're picking on a guy, right, below the belt who's got issues with his wife, he's got issues with his daughter, he's working all the hours God sends, and you're going, he's doing gay comic books. He was always a comic book guy.
Yeah.
He even called Eric July fucking gay.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is completely delusional. He's off his
yeah.
fucking head, and he thinks he's like a real hard guy. And he thinks he's like status has gone up because of the foursome with Ricada and Ricada's wife and his ex. He thinks somehow he's like this e-celebrity. And it's just embarrassing, mate. The whole thing that, remember when we used to talk about it and said, why did you put that on Front Street? You have kids. You have 3 kids. And Nick had 5 kids. And you were doing this lovey-dovey hot tub stream where you were both eyeing each other up because you wanted to fuck each other's wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You put it on Front Street. You could have done copious amounts of drugs and copious amounts of sex, and none of us needed to know anything about it.
Yeah.
I know I fucking didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't want to know about
But he
his
just
sex
loves
life,
the
bruv.
attention.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
he's like an e-whore, isn't he? He's like an e-girl. He's such a like little drip with his 20 chins and his receding hairline. Just shave it off, you prick, like me. Go bald.
yeah.
God,
John.
and that horrible widow's peak.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, he looks like a vampire.
And he is getting
Like Bela
fat. He,
Lugosi.
he is getting a lot. He's packing on the LBS.
This is the guy that goes to the gym all the time and he's a legit boxer.
Yeah.
I say this, right? I'm a shit boxer. I wouldn't last 1 or 2 rounds. I get knackered out. I haven't got the stamina. I will get slapped up by anyone. But if you want to have a dust up on the cobbles, mate, I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, because he thinks he can fucking fight everyone. Yeah, well, we'll fight in the street then. I'll take it. I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
Anytime you like.
Yeah. There's no gym in the street. That's for sure. There's no ring in the street.
Exactly,
But,
because we said in boxing, weren't we? No stamina, we die. It don't matter how you do it.
Oh,
you know, when you're in the boxing, you could barely last 2 rounds before your arms ache. You punch yourself out and you completely gas.
Yeah, you don't have any more feet, and then you're like set up for an easy knockout.
Yeah.
But the thing about Ethan Van Sciver is that I really respect him because when he got canceled off of DC Comics, he recreated a job for himself, doing what he loves, and is still supporting his family. And I think that's what all men should aspire to be like. That's what men should be, is try to take care of their family in the best way they know how. So he gets a tremendous amount of respect from me for that. But that's how I kind of see that.
He mocked his draw streams. And he goes, the only reason you're going to be getting your comic books is because the toe. Because the toe's
God, that
bullied
piece of
Ethan
shit.
Van Sciver. Yeah, it's like that's the only reason you're going to get your comic book. This fraudster who's stolen all your money is now doing it because the toe bullied him to do it. Because the toe's so great. He talks about himself in the third person all the time, which is a sure sign that you're a cunt. But he's just the most vulgar, irritating. I can't. No wonder his wife didn't want to be anywhere near him. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not April's biggest fan. You know what I mean? I'm not shouting the rooftops at April. But no wonder she wanted to jump on the Ricada train, because anyone would have been better than that cringe fuck, I tell you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, Rakita had Coke.
Yeah. Well, it's funny
And,
because
Aaron's lame.
yeah, and yeah,
So-
I would. I like Ricada, so I would hang with him first anyway. King Yeti says Aaron had to eat parachutes of blow because his tender nostrils couldn't handle it. Ironically, eating Coke is as close to intravenous as you can get. What a dork. And then we got Scarface. He says the funny thing is when Aaron talks about EVS, he's actually talking about Vito. You know, the guy who collaborated with Hackmania with that creepy ass video. That's 100% true. I mean, like EVS has delivered, 35 years of work, right? He continues to deliver to this day. He was trying to do 3 or 4 jobs at the same time, and that kind of delayed some of his comic books. He's already gotten back on track with that. So I think that's funny. We got.
He doesn't deny that he's a slow artist, does he?
No,
He actually states openly, "I draw very slowly.
Yeah.
You will get your books, but great art takes time."
And
Fair
his
enough.
art, and his art is great. I mean, even back in when Wizard was around, the magazine for comic books for the industry, acknowledges one of the best, if not the best, artists at a different point in time throughout the history of I think it was the 90s and the 2000s. So we got Riley in the chat. He's giving us a shout out. Shout out to Riley out there. Hope
Yo, what's up?
hope you're having a great day. But it's very
I saw
interesting.
his video. He's got a new music video, isn't he?
Yeah.
He put
Oh,
that
I
out,
haven't
hasn't
seen
he?
it yet.
Yeah, it's a great music video. Let me see
I
if
can
I
do
can
it too.
Let me see. Yeah, I can do it too. Let me see if I can't find it and drop that link in the chat. But he did a great music video. But he's out. Riley's out there creating. He's out there doing his thing.
Yeah, every day.
He's out there making it happen. And like, this was the thing that I was trying to discuss is like, if you create a loop of parasites, you have to have a creator somewhere in that loop, right? If you don't, then what are the parasites going to parasite? So, you have to.
He's a white yay after all, isn't he? He's the white yay.
Yeah, he's the white yay. He's the white younger yay. That's what Riley's all about. But so Riley dropped that. I'll try to find that link and drop that in the chat real quick. You guys.
I'm gonna drop the Ministry of Dude link while we're doing this.
Yeah, fantastic. Drop the Ministry of the Dude link in the chat. Also, I'm almost got all the tech figured out for this. I'll be able to play videos here pretty soon. So that the main hang up was me rerouting the audio so that the boys on Zoom could hear it, and I just downloaded a new widget for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But
one of the funniest things on Ministry of Dude this week was when the Brazilian guy got in a row with Adonis Paul about religion or something.
I thought that was
funny as fuck.
hilarious. I thought that was hilarious.
Funny as fuck, mate. I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't even know who the players were or the
I
names
didn't
of the
know
players.
what was happening.
I was just laughing.
like, what? Huh?
I thought that was very entertaining, and I loved it. I love whenever AP comes on Ministry of the Dude because I adore AP. So AP comes on, and for the people who didn't see it, he said, what did he say? He said something about religion or Catholicism or something like that. And I wasn't aware that Kyle is very Catholic. I didn't know that. And so Kyle took umbrage at that and got upset about it. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I was like, damn.
I mean, it was also the Till bringing up the Jay Dyer stuff. Jay Dyer and Andrew Wilson.
Yeah. Well, Jay Dyer, yeah, that guy, and Andrew Wilson. What did you think about that on the John? What did you think about
that argument or those guys?
Yeah, what did you think about those guys? And refresh the audience if they didn't see it. What do Jay Dyer is a very orthodox. Is he Orthodox Christian or is he Catholic or?
I actually don't know. I mean, I know Andrew Wilson because he's like a debate bro guy.
Yeah, and Andrew Wilson loves to debate. He loves to do all that kind of stuff. And
he likes talking down to like whores or women.
Yeah.
Is he the one that goes on the Whatever podcast? Is he that guy?
Yes, it's that guy.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
I don't hate him. He seems, as far as
he's the one that tried to open that jar of pickles and couldn't open the pickles, right? He's the pickle guy. So I thought that was pretty funny. Then he like kind of destroyed his whole situation because he was the pickle guy that couldn't open up a jar of pickles or whatever. And so that was hilarious. Now, Riley,
he should have got Gorlock to open it for him.
yeah. So so you had them. They got in a conversation about Andrew Wilson talking about with Jay Dyer and having a debate. And Andrew Wilson's a debate guy. Jay Dyer's a Orthodox Christian guy, and they go back and forth. And they were talking about it. And I think that AP said something like all organized religion is shit or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then Kyle got upset about it because I didn't know this, but Kyle, it makes sense though, because Brazil is very Catholic. Kyle is a very Catholic person. And then, boy, that just set Kyle off a little bit, didn't it? He got all upset. And Ric Flair, he says he's Eastern Orthodox. So, yeah. So that was pretty crazy. Riley, I made you a mod, so if you can drop your link to your video in the chat, that'd be awesome. Sweet. But I
got to look into orthodoxy.
But
Orthodox.
yeah. Well, I think we're gonna have a couple of streams here pretty soon, and I think on the John, you even mentioned that we're gonna maybe some of that old time religion stuff, and that's definitely been one of the areas of research for me that I've looked into for the past. I mean, I was raised pretty hardcore Christian for a long time, and then before I branched out and onto other things. But to have a conversation about that, I think that'd be very interesting. We'll probably do a couple streams with Miami John and have a good time doing that. Yeah. But so anyway, back to what we were talking about with AP. So AP makes this off the cuff comment, and now all of a sudden Kyle gets all upset about it. And AP wasn't even trying to make anybody mad or even trying to put out an opinion. And then Kyle just gets all upset and starts to defend Catholicism and Christianity and all that kind of stuff. And
I think that was part of it, but I also think he's very protective of Andrew Wilson and Jay Dyer, less so Andrew Wilson, just because in his words they've done like really good work that like helps people, and he feels like we shouldn't
I see,
shit on them. And it's like been a thing, like the pickle clip where Andrew Wilson had troubles opening. We had a whole blow up argument over playing that too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Till likes this Andrew Wilson guy, and he wants to bring him in to make fun of it. Kyle doesn't.
Right. Well, I don't really like Andrew Wilson that much myself. I'm not really a big Jay Dyer fan either. I listen to a ton of podcasts, and I listen to a lot of other people as well. And I have a whole various, perspective on all these different types of religions. And I've been studying religion for a long time. We got Johnny Rocket in the chat. He calls him Catholic Kyle. Shout out to you, Johnny Rocket. I dropped you the link too if you want to jump on. But it was.
I don't know any of these people, to be honest with you.
Well, they're all on Ministry of the Dude. Kyle was the Brazilian guy, Kyle White. And the other guys, though, yeah.
No, I'm talking about these debate bro guys and all that stuff. I don't like any of that
well,
shit.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
So what do you mean by that, Ray? Other guys on the show.
Well, who's that? Who's that guy on Ministry of the Dude that never comes on and talks or whatever?
Fat Cack Boy.
Yeah, Fat Cack Boy. Yeah, that guy. That's the other guy. On the John.
I think Christians and Catholics are sensitive, aren't they, at the moment? Because if you notice the religions that are under attack is Christianity and Catholicism 24/7. You don't see Islam under attack, do you?
No.
People have to mind their P's and Q's around Judaism.
They're afraid
you know
of
what
Islam.
I mean? I'm the only one who really goes to Islam 24/7 because I fucking loathe them. I loathe the religion and I loathe Muslims with a passion. So I will go at them 24/7. I don't care. But I'm saying in my country, people won't touch that shit with a barge pole. The only people that get hit in my country are Christians and Catholics. You know what I mean? They get hit 24/7. You have to tread carefully around Judaism and you have to tread carefully around Islam. And I imagine it's the same in America. The people that always get hit are the Christians and the Catholics.
Yeah.
Because they get beat up from the left and they get beat up on the right. There's no love for Catholics in America, is there?
No, you know what the funny thing about that is the Catholics are the ones bringing all the immigrants into the country.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Jay? Like, what the hell?
Forrest Mummy's always saying that, isn't she?
They
if you look
are.
At Forrest Mummy's timeline, she's always hitting on it's the Catholics or the child traffickers.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
They're the ones they're the NGOs bringing all of the illegal aliens in here, giving them all jobs, giving them all houses, giving them all that stuff. It's crazy.
But it's your Chicago Pope, isn't it? Your American Pope. He's proper. He's proper lefty.
Right.
He's proper liberal.
Wasn't he in the Epstein list?
I think he was.
Yeah, he's always. The first thing he did, he started lecturing everyone, every cat, because my family are Catholic. He started lecturing them all about climate change, and he kissed a piece of ice or something that was melting. I don't know what the fuck he was doing.
Isn't that what
but
the
they
last
don't
Pope
talk
did
about
too?
they don't talk about religion or religious texts anymore.
Yeah, what was that on the John? What were
No.
you saying?
Didn't the last Pope like talk about a bunch of that shit?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe they all have the same fucking, it doesn't matter. You change popes, they have the same platform that they want to push.
I mean, like the powers that be already have like all the big positions of power like controlled. So these popes are going to have to put out the
same narrative, right?
Yeah, the same narrative. Immigrate the entire third world to the West. You should.
And that's what they're doing. They're immigrating the third world to the West, which is crazy, right? Because they're helping the Muslims take over Europe, which they're already in. That's what's the real
They've
mind
weaponized
Islam.
migrants.
Yeah.
What's interesting is there's actually a book that's banned in a lot of countries. I can't quite remember what it's called. I'll have to figure it out. But it was about how immigrants were invading other countries, and it caused a lot of countries to like get into bad shit, and it seems like it was like a blueprint for a lot of this.
Well, 100%, bro. Okay, we're gonna have a conspiracy stream one of these days.
Yeah,
and we're gonna talk about all this
stuff. Hey, Mersh,
I got all this. We got a nice guy, Mersh, in the chat. Shout out to Mersh over there. Black Candace Owens. A Black Candace Owens.
The last Pope, wasn't it? The last Pope, he let a group of trannies just have a party in St. Paul's Basilica. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you're supposed to be against that shit. It's mad.
Yeah, Ric Flair's hair held to the king. We got Clipiverse also. Johnny Rocket is the greatest new writer in indie comics. Hail the maniac maker himself. Johnny motherfucking Rocket. Let's fucking go. Johnny Rocket's awesome, even though he is red. I am blue. He is red. I know I got a coral beanie on, but don't ignore that. It's a little bit of beef we've got going on. But no, you're right. It's all the Catholics, and they're running these NGOs. They're getting paid by taxpayer, tax base in order to pull all these Muslim immigrants, into Dearborn, Michigan, into over there in England where you're at, and make all that happen. That's wild. That's like so you got to wonder what the hell is really going on, right? Doesn't that show that there's some sort of hidden hand behind everything, kind of with its own little idea? Well, John, your thoughts?
Obvious. That there's something going on. Like there's too many patterns. Unfortunately, I'm an individual who has pattern recognition. This thing called pattern recognition, where I can see something happening over here and there, and go, that's weird. It's all happening in a similar way.
Right. No, you're 100% right. And how long can we go before we the more and more people don't wake up and recognize these patterns that are blatantly being pushed out? Like all of a sudden, like, we care about like global warming, but oh wait, no, not anymore, because we need AI data centers. We want to take care of the water. Oh, not anymore, because the AI data centers need all the water for cooling. Oh, we have to keep our borders. Not anymore, because we need the immigrants to come in.
They just want all the natural resources.
Well, and also did you hear about like the banks now are offering 0% interest rates to different Hasidic Jewish organizations and also Islamic organizations because of their religion? I'm talking JP Morgan Chase. I'm talking like Bank of America.
I knew about the Jewish one. I did not know about Islam.
Yeah. And so you're sitting there working with your credit score, trying to get a good credit score. And here these people are immigrating over, no credit score, and they get a 0% interest loan. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? So the whole loan thing has been a big scam from jump. That's how I feel about it. What do you think?
It's tribalism. Like you want to help out your tribe. White people don't really have that.
Well, okay.
At all.
All right. I have an idea about that. I hear what you're saying. White people don't have it.
Yeah.
I think it's been conditioned out of white people with the whole feminism. When feminism started in the 50s, 60s, 70s, it was conditioned out of white people, and then over generations, the toxic empathy of women through feminism has come to rescue the third world. When they don't realize that the West is actually a minority in the world, the population, the economy, just because she has a nice Starbucks here, you can't bring everybody in the world to that same Starbucks. There's limitations to this. You know what I'm saying, James? There's limits to all this stuff, right?
I just miss the good old days when you used to hate the Catholic Church and the Church of England for covering up child sex abuse. The good old days. Now you hate them for all manner of reasons. No, in this country, I've always said to you in it, when you have these demonstrations, they always bust the same people in. They're professionals, and they're always old white people who are retired, and they're always white university class people, right? And these people loathe someone like me who is also white. And we should be on each other's side, protecting ourselves from the invasion of Muslims and immigrants. They would throw me under the bus like that.
That's
what I mean? They'll take 20 immigrants to one of me. You know what I mean? They loathe me with a passion. They can't express in words how much they hate me. You know what I mean? And everything that I like, everything I believe in, everything I stand for. There's no solidarity.
Well, you're not
with your fellow. There's no solidarity with your fellow white man. You know what I mean? John's right. There's no cohesion. There's no solidarity. There's no loyalty in the white race.
Part of that
the
is
white
the
race
conditioning. A lot of those like paid protesters or people who just show up. Like, you notice how it's all old people and
they're all the same. And they're all the same people.
They're all the same. And mentally unwell people. They're the weakest amongst us, so it's easier for them to be overtaken by like psyops and also like ideologies.
No, it's true. And also at the same time, they're the ones that maybe they don't have a family, right? So they have to put that energy somewhere. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier when I said that women have a window. They need to have a family, or else all of this energy that they would otherwise pour into their family, they go and they pour that, and it becomes toxic when they pour it into society, because then they want to become authoritarian. The way they think things have to happen is the way it has to happen. And you're kind of like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Get out of my business. Get back in your house. And then, that's what happens. You see them out there. They're arguing about crazy stuff, and their points are all irrational. And it comes from this emotional context that they've been programmed by whatever, program in society, whether they listen to CNN, whether they listen to the Beatles, whether they listen to the Catholic Church or whatever.
Somewhere there's conditioning there.
Basically. And that's basically what's happening. And so, that's kind of what we're seeing happen right now. I'm going to jump in the chat. James, do you have any thoughts about that before we move on?
Well, we got a group in this country. I don't know if you're aware, called Palestine Action. And it's exactly as On the John says. It's the university students, it's the mentally ill, and it's the old retirees that have never had a family, like you said, children or grandchildren. And they go up and down the country. Now, the government prescribed them as a terrorist organization, which they got overturned in court. Now they've defaced Stonehenge. They broke into facilities, and this last one, they smashed an iron bar on the back of a female copper, and they broke her back, and she's been permanently off work now, right? And they had their trial, and the jury found them not guilty in about a couple of hours.
Right.
And there's been all these other trials. We have the jury trials, and no one will convict Palestine Action, even when they film all the criminal activities they do, because the people on the jury, all in London, have the same sensibilities as them, so they find them not guilty, so they never get punished.
No, facts.
And they bring the whole country, they grind it to a halt. It's like some kind of inside job. I don't know. You could never convict these people, even when they film themselves doing it.
Right. You can't convict them. And can we...
Same with Antifa.
Yeah. Can we all agree that girl cops have been the worst idea ever? I mean, is there a worse idea than girl cops? The only good thing that came out of girl cops was that Irrational Times song called Girl Cops, which I love. It's hilarious. But female cops are horrible. We got Colonel Zaid in the chat. He says, is this Timu Tim Pool still shouting? I think he's calling me Tim Pool because I have a beanie on today. That could be. Yep. He says,
or is he talking about James?
No, he says at least his beanie changes colors. So yeah, that's what we got going on. It could have been James. We don't know. We got Riley in the chat. He says
he's not one of D-Wag's boys, so he's a hater. I don't listen to these. don't listen to these haters, man.
That's what.
Listen to him.
That's what Riley just said. D-Wag has tapped his tag team partner in Zaid. Shout out to Zaid. Now Zaid says James is based. So there you go. Nice guy Mersh says based. Yeah. Worst idea.
Well, I want him to do a stream. I want, you know, Oggy says he's not really into being like front of house, but he does really good memes. So everyone go follow Paul Og. But I hope D-Wag sets up a stream, whether it's Comicsgate or Comicsgate adjacent, with Zaid, who's the artist. You've got the raconteur and D-Wag, and you know, Oggy's the meme guy. I hope they do Game Busters. I hope they knock it out of the park and do good things.
Yeah, I think D-Wag's in the process of setting some of that in motion. So. We got Pat in the chat. She says,
I'm never going to appear on it, no matter how much he begs. I'm never going to go on it. But.
Oh, I'm going to jump on there and be like a Tasmanian devil like he does over here. But we got Pat. She says, women cops are the worst idea ever. Yeah, female cops, bro. The terrible idea. Okay, also females in the military. Terrible idea.
Yeah.
Let them be nurses, right? Let them be chefs. Let them be cooks, maybe. But, man, keep them away from the guns. Keep them away from any kind of physical activity. And also keep them away from people who want to fuck, right? Because you got the men.
I have a solution.
Okay, John? What you got?
Women in the police force. You need to create a department of lost dogs, and their job is to go out and look for lost pets. That's the only thing a female cop should be doing.
Well, yeah, that's actually pretty good. You know, it solved that problem. I know. I don't know if you guys saw on ROTC the other day. Yesterday, they were talking about the Ring camera and how they were doing the AI searches, and it was only for lost dogs.
That was so funny.
It was only for lost dogs. And the other company, Wise, made up all the other, you know, the funny commercials about it. So, you know, I don't know. Would women replace the AI search for lost dogs? I don't know. But, you know, I agree with you. I agree with you. That's what women should be doing. Women should be trying to, you know, take care of the lost dogs. They should be taking care of, you know, empathetic situations. They shouldn't be trying to go out there and administer force to, you know, a man who's like, you know, 6'2", 230, built like a linebacker, running around on PCP. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But they must be male or ladies. You got to be nurses, doctors.
No, not so much.
Trust a guy,
right? Well,
have you seen those women nurses, though? They're all obese. Have you seen them? They're all fucking obese. And then they lecture you, right? You go to a female doctor, right? And she's fat as fuck, and she's lecturing you about your weight and your diet. I'm like, dude, have you fucking seen yourself, darling? You could fairly fit through a fucking door, and you're lecturing me. Look at me. I'm an Adonis. Look at the state of you. Yeah. And like the female cops, they're all fat as well. Yeah. We have a thing over here called the beep test, where you have to get from one end of the room in time before the beep, right? So you do that. These female cops are fucking obese. No way they ever pass the beep test. They should be on the desks shoveling papers, because when they go out on the street, they can't bring a man down. Yeah. They can't run after a man. They're just totally outmatched. And then in the army, if they don't get sexually abused, they get you fucking killed.
No, that's 100% right. I mean, they don't even take it serious. They want to change the standards so that you know, it lowers the standards of the police, you know, or the military,
or
the firefighter, or even the nurses. I mean, like
the immigrants that don't speak English.
Oh
that's
my God.
The fucking worst one,
bro.
They're in the police force. They're in the fucking army. They're in public service, and they're like, hello. It's like, mate, I can't understand a word you're fucking saying, bruv.
Yeah, facts, bro.
God, that shit's so fucked. It's like, I'm gonna say it. It's white genocide. Like all this third world migrant stuff. Like, I mean, it's genocide over the course of like 50 or 60 or 100 years, but like,
it sounds like a plan. Are you talking about maybe like a plan? Like they had a Kalergi plan?
Like a replacement plan?
A Kalergi plan, perhaps, something like that they talked about, you know, back in World War II.
Part of that is also like replacing the politicians with foreigners who kind of like get their stuff in. But the other thing is police forces.
Or positions of power and authority.
Yeah. And it's much easier for the state to use them against its people than like someone who's from like the country, like how in during all the Tiananmen Square stuff, the Chinese brought those tanks from like a far off province because they had nothing in common with the protesters. So like, I don't give a shit.
That's a fantastic point. They will have no empathy for the people because they're not their people, and they will act like in a very totalitarian, barbaric fashion, a brutalistic fashion even, to those people because they don't have any kind of relationship to them. And bro, as we have seen, if you take third world migrants and you give them any form of weapon, they're going to use it in a brutal fashion, whether it's going to be on dogs, cats, or people, bro. It's going to get crazy. Yeah. But you know, we could.
Well, I think.
Go on, John.
Oh, a lot of third world countries is like playing a game of Rust.
Yeah.
Like in Africa, they're like, you know, crackheads here will like dig up copper and stuff. There, they'll like pull off rebar and use it as a weapon, or like pull out the infrastructure and use that to craft a little shelter.
Yeah. Well, you're 100% right. It's almost like their environment constraints, you know, keep their ability to scam minimal, right? And so they're in the third world country. They don't have social programs. They don't have, you know, all of this technology. They don't have like these different support structures to help them scam larger. So all they can do is, you know, steal a little bit here, steal a little bit there, you know, recycle
they may
a couple
have at some point.
Yeah, maybe
before like whoever built all these like wonderful buildings and streets and stuff like that left.
Well, that's possible, but now, that's possible. But for the sake of the argument, you know, maybe the worst they could do was put a little bit of sand in the aluminum cans that they're trying to recycle to kind of, you know, put their finger on the scale a little bit more so they get more money. But then they come over, you know, to the Western society. We have social welfare programs. We have technology so they can do it at scale now. Mm-hmm. You know, how many of those daycares were there in Minnesota? Also, you know, the new scam that I'm hearing about is the whole truck driver, delivery driver thing for Amazon, where, you know, if you can register your truck or whatever as an Amazon fulfillment driver, they can get, you know, subsidies for that. And so they were going through a neighborhood. I saw some YouTube videos where they saw that in almost every house in this neighborhood had a truck that was registered to be a delivery truck. But of course, it never did any deliveries. It just received the subsidies. And so, you know, now we're starting to see, you know, all of this kind of graft, all this kind of, you know, scam at scale. And not only just between one or two people, but also against the American taxpayer at large. Which, you know, now we're having a problem. What are your thoughts on that, John?
I just want to say I don't think it's all third world countries that thrive off of this, like take advantage of
I agree.
Like
not all.
Shit. It's just, you know, Nigeria and India.
Well, so, you know, for some reason, it's the ones we select to import, right? Isn't that ironic, right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, there's a reason why they're getting not just regular guys from India. They're getting guys from India from certain parts.
Right.
Like the like East Asia.
Yeah.
East Asia or Western Asia? I forget.
No, they're getting that. Well, actually, in India, you know, the whole scamming idea is they look upon them with favor. You know, like how Bernie Madoff, when he went to prison, all the people in prison clapped for him because he pulled off that huge Ponzi scheme. Well, that's the mentality of India. They have the same reverence for people who can scam on a large scale. So that's not going to mix well when you bring it over to the West, where we have all of these
high trust society.
We have like an open purse to social welfare programs, you know, easily scammable. Everybody gets paid to go along with the flow and to take from the taxpayer. Now, all of a sudden, you know, we look around, all of our housing prices are through the roof. You know, our roads all have potholes in them. You know, nobody's doing any of the work, but everybody's consuming all of the you know, resources. Like I see this at the grocery store. I don't know if you guys see this. I'll go to the grocery store and I see people buying all of the oranges from the produce area, all of the oranges, a whole cart full of oranges with EBT cards, with food stamps. Why are they buying all of the produce with food stamps? Well, it's because they take the produce to their little store. They buy from one store and then they sell it for real money at their little bodega or their little store in the little area. You know, James, you have any thoughts on that? We're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. We already blew past the 2 hours. I think we could go on for another hour or two, but you know, I don't want to do that. We already got our 2 hour fulfillment, our allotted time. James, do you have any thoughts on that before we roll on?
Well, if you want to know what these people are like, their true nature, the ones that we're importing at the moment, against my will, and against a lot of people that agree with me as well, they set up no-go zones, right? We saw this in Minnesota, didn't we? Where they were saying you're not welcome. Have you noticed when you ever see protests now and counter
Great
protests,
point.
they will
Great
say
point.
you're not welcome in this area. This is our area. We've taken it over. Get out of our cities. Get out of our streets. Get out of our towns. And this is exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it in support with the liberal right, with the liberal white people. But I'll tell you something. Once these people have got dominance, once they've got the whip hand, and once they've completely taken over politically, and they're in the ascendancy, as in they're no longer the minority and them the majority, they are gonna fucking put us to the sword.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna be nice to us. They're not gonna be lenient. They are gonna put us to the absolute fucking sword. And in this country, it wouldn't shock me in my lifetime if I saw Sharia law.
Yeah.
We've already got Sharia councils. You know, we've got halal meat. You know, we're going to bring in an Islamophobia law where you can't say things about Muslims. So the next step will obviously be Sharia law.
Yeah.
And I reckon we'll see this in my lifetime. If you go to London, it's like Londonistan. You know what I mean? It's like it used to be Londinium with the Romans, but it's now like Londonistan. And it's only going to exacerbate the problem. The problem's not going to get better. There's going to be more immigration, not less.
Yeah.
And then you'll see what they'll do to the white minority when the whites are the minority. They will literally put us to the sword.
Yeah. They want to adhere to the same social contract that we have right now. They'll actually change the social contract, and I think that's what we're heading for. I think a lot of the white people who are asleep, or a lot of the Western people, I'll say, that are asleep, don't understand that. The social contract is going to be changed.
Dude, if you're still asleep now, I don't know if you're gonna make it, man.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on that one. I think the best thing that anybody can do is to make their own personal lives the best experience possible. You can't save anybody. You can't wake anybody up. You can give them information, but they have to wake up on their own accord. In fact, if you try to wake people up, I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but they actually fight against you. They hate you.
They resent it.
They hate you. Yeah. So great chat. I know we covered a lot of stuff today. We started in Valentine's Day, and somehow we ended up in changing social contracts. I guess they're the same thing, really. If you think about it, they really are. Yeah. We're going to wrap it up, though. On the John, what are your final thoughts? Where can people find you? How do they follow you? Talk to me about Ministry of the Dude.
Okay, first I'll do all my plugs. You can follow me on Twitter at On the John. All the O's are zeros, which is confusing, but just all the O's are zeros. You can follow me at Ministry of Dude every night at 8 p.m. EST. And I've also been on this show a number of times. Go watch more episodes of Bruvs Unite.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, you're literally a bruv now on the John. So how you feel about that? There you go.
I feel really good.
Yeah.
I feel like I've found a place for me where
yeah, I feel seen. I feel seen, baby. I feel seen, baby.
Also, it's good that all the cast members are like different backgrounds and ages. You guys are like, I don't know how old you are, Ray, but
I think
you're much older than me.
Yeah, I'm like 80. I'm like 80 now.
80?
I was playing.
Right. So you have a lot more experience with dating and girls and women and stuff like that. And I think there's that support system is missing in a lot of men's lives, and that's also on purpose. You're not allowed to have like private clubs or exclude people. Women have to be everywhere.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. And we're glad to have you here. I think, it's very important to have a multi-generational family to create quality, a good psychology in people. And if you can't do it with your regular family, you have to kind of create your own. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here. So everybody go follow On the John. He's a great guy. He's hilarious. He makes great comments on Twitter. I love to always when he posts on Twitter. James, we're going to give you the final words. So where can people follow you? What are your final thoughts? What's going on?
Well, you see me here exclusively on Wednesday and a Saturday, looking good, always talking shite. Don't listen to a word I say. You know what I mean? But let's go, Jared.
Yeah, let's go, Jared.
You know what I mean? Just follow everyone who's around in the chat, on the stream, follow peeps. Have a good one. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. Make sure you get a good rump in later. And yeah, spare a thought for us saddos, us lonely people.
Us lonely people. Go follow
Laters.
James Graben at James Domenico Graben on YouTube. He's trying to get his YouTube channel launched. Let's get him some followers today, some subs. Also follow him on X, James Domenico Graben on X. He makes a great post. He's very tapped in, obviously, with the what's going on in the politic world over there in Europe and in England specifically. And, you know, that's going to be the predecessor that's going to come for America pretty soon. Pretty soon it's going to be here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Nice Guy Mersh. Thanks for popping by. Shout out to Carrie C. I appreciate you coming over here. Shout out to On the Job dropping chat in the links in the chat. Shout out to Hillbilly Harry. That's why I held up the mug earlier. Let's fucking go, Jared. He's out there competing. He's out there. Jared's one of the guys. He's a great representative of a stand-up young man out there making things happen. We love to see it. Shout out to Scarface, $5 super chat. Shout out to Ric Flair's hair. Woo! Really supporting the show today. $50 super chat. Thanks to you, bro. So glad to see you back. I'm glad you're back on Twitter as well. Shout out to Carrie C. Dickington Post. Shout out to you, bro. Glad to see you. And everybody else out there, On the John, Professor Grass, all the guys out there that are making it today. I hope everybody in the chat, hope you guys all have a fantastic Valentine's Day today. Hope you do something special for yourself. Get yourself that T-bone steak and that shot of Redbreast whiskey today and make it a keeper. But get on out of here. Have a great rest of your day because that's what we're going to do. We're going to get on out of here too. Knuckles to you people. Later.
Knuckles.